is a Fox Sports presentation. Hey, you, looking for me? Today, hockey gets back on track. Fox Tracks. The NHL on Fox rolls on. Blue morning, blue day. You'd better do things Mad Dog Mike's way, even if you're, kind of great. Can they slow down the Russian Fab Five who like to burn that hockey candle at both ends, racing to a record 60 wins? But, assume nothing, mate. B-Town Billy has his Bruins engaged in some winning ways, but Boston's still stuck on that playoff bubble, hoping not to get knocked off for the first time in 29 years. Today, they look to send bummed-out Buffalo over in a barrel. Dallas's Mike Modano feels like a lone star because his team's full of fallen stars. Today, they ride into Chi-Town to battle the Hawks, whose aim is true. Defenseman Chris Chelios and Gary Suter will lead the ambush, partner. New York, start spreading the... No, forget it. This scrapple's not in the apple. It's out on the island, man. Ranger Richter, he's healed, and Main Man Mess will try to get his Rangers off that seesaw against those hated Islanders. Better call the cops. And then there's the other guy with the hair.
Jaromir Jagr.
But the Pens are in Flyer Town, and when you're at Eric's house, it ain't pretty. All right, bucko, buckle up, because it's the one and only NHL on Fox.
And welcome back to Hollywood and the NHL on Fox. We've got 5 games for you this afternoon, and with just 3 Sundays left until the end of the regular season, each game is critical as teams fight for playoff berths and positioning. And hello, everyone. I'm James Brown. Good to have you back alongside with us, and my partner, Dave Maloney. 6 weeks off. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you, JB. And in 6 weeks, we've had a couple of chaps change addresses. The great ones in St. Louis, McSorley and Curry in New York. What hasn't changed? Detroit hasn't changed. They keep rolling along. Stanley Cup favorites, Detroit Red Wings.
Okay, and of course, we'll set the playoff picture for folks in just a bit. But first, let's head out to Detroit. Now, those of you getting that game will see the return of the Fox Tracks and a look at the red-hot Red Wings. And calling that game will be our own Mike Emmerich. And good afternoon, Mike.
Good afternoon, JB. The regular season 2 weeks to go, and they play it to entertain hockey fans. And boy, have they been entertained here. 20,000 fans will be here today. What a season they've had. They've come here 38 times and only seen 3 losses by their team. By next weekend, this is probably going to be the best record in history. Over 20,000 will see the rest of the Blues games in St. Louis because of this guy, Wayne Gretzky. All the rest of the year sold out to watch the generation's finest player. Couple of fine players we don't get to see today, Brett Hull or Shane Corson, because of injuries. But we do get to see some history. Goaltender Grant Fuhr breaks his own record with his 76th straight start. You mentioned the Fox Tracks pucks. Grant will be catching a few of those. Fox Tracks is back, improved look, the enhanced puck, the Comet Trail, and shot speed. And I predict 96 miles an hour will be the fastest, and Al McInnes of the Blues will have it, JB.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Now, those of you not getting that game will see either the Penguins and Flyers. That's a game which could decide the top seed in the East. Also, the Battle of New York between the Rangers and Islanders, Dallas at Chicago, or the Bruins against the Sabres. Boston, Buffalo, a huge game for the Bruins. That game kind of underscores how tight the races are in the East and the West for the last spots. Let's start in the East.
Well, in the East, there are 4 teams vying for only 3 playoff spots, JB. And the Fox face-off, what's important in my idea is goaltending. We're going to take a look at 4 of them. Only the lowly Ottawa Senators have scored fewer goals than Martin Brodieur's New Jersey Devil. This guy has been terrific. This year's MVP for the Devils. Billy Ranford, they got him in January from Edmonton. He's been terrific, struggling at .500. The Bruins have been better with Ranford in the lineup. Jim Carey leads the league with 9 shutouts. He's had a spectacular second half. He plays for a team that also struggles to score. Darren Scoopa Poopa backstopping the Tampa Bay Lightning, the oldest of the foursome at 31 years old. Tampa relies on special teams. Their power play's 4th best in the league.
So in the East, both Boston and Tampa Bay have the game in hand on Washington and New Jersey. Boston is 8th because they have won more than Tampa Bay. In the West, a dynamic duo is giving the Mighty Ducks a shot.
Well, they are giving the Mighty Ducks a shot. These 2 guys are crucial to what the Ducks will or won't do. In February, they traded for Teemu Selanne. Selanne gives them a playmaking and scoring ability to go with Paul Correa, who is a spectacular young player. The problem is they're winless in their last 3. Why? Solani and Correa have not scored. Speaking of goal scoring, this guy, Pavel Bure, will begin skating with the Canucks, Vancouver that is, this week. If he gets himself back in the lineup with Mogilny, the Vancouver Canucks will be a factor in the West come playoff time.
And in the West, Anaheim and Edmonton are on the outside looking in, but the Ducks have a decent shot at the playoffs. That's because they played the fewest number of games of the teams that are on the bubble. Now, David, as we saw, Detroit on top in the West last season, strong in the regular season, wiped out in the Stanley Cup Finals. Strong this year. Will it be the same fate?
Well, I don't know, but at the risk of reputation, JB, they have been terrific this regular season. There are 3 guys that are playing better. Chris Osgood's a better goaltender. Lidstrom and Konstantinov on the blue line are better players. Larionov, they bring him in from San Jose to kind of bring the Russians together. The problem is, if they had not got swept and swept convincingly, I think people would mail the cup to the Motor City. Can they stand up to the East in the grinding? Time will tell. I think this is their year.
All right, you think they're tougher. We'll find out if that's the case. And folks, we're going to take you out to your game right after this.
You're watching the NHL on
Coliseum for the Battle of New York. Now, the Rangers need a win to have a realistic shot at the top seed in the East. Kenny Albert and Dennis Potvin have the call.
A passionate rivalry. Storybook goals on Long Island. And Manhattan. And Stanley Cup championships. You to the Nassau Coliseum on Uniondale, Long Island for the 6th and final meeting this season between the New York Rangers and the New York Islanders. Rangers battling in the Eastern Conference playoff race, currently 1 point behind the second place Philadelphia Flyers. And a good afternoon, everybody. Kenny Albert along with a very familiar face to New York area hockey fans, longtime Islanders captain Denny Potvin. And Denny, the Rangers have won 4 of 5 against the Islanders this season, but as you know, as well as anyone, when these teams get together, anything can happen.
Well, anything can happen on any given night, but this is not necessarily a year of a rivalry between the New York Rangers and the Islanders. 48 points separate the two. But the fact is that with all the young draft picks the Islanders have, maybe the rivalry will come back soon.
And here this afternoon, Rangers captain Mark Messier is thrilled to welcome back his line mate, right wing Pat Verbeek, 38 goals. He's missed the last 9 games.
Well, I think Colin Campbell and all of the Ranger fans certainly are happy to see Verbeek back. 3.5 goals a game is what the Rangers have averaged over the season. But since Verbeek has been out 9 games, they haven't been able to average 3 goals. Pat Verbeek brings a lot of scoring potential from here on in, and in particular, a lot of character for this team that needs to gel.
Our goaltending matchup this afternoon for the Rangers, Mike Richter, who shut out the Florida Panthers on Wednesday night. His 4th start the last 5 games since returning from a groin injury. And for the Islanders, the rookie 20-year-old Eric Fischel, number 1 star of yesterday's game, the Islanders' 3-1 loss in Hartford. Our officials, Richard Trottier, the referee, the linesman Kevin Collins, and Jean Morin. Mark Messier and Travis Green on the opening face-off. Messier centering Adam Graves and Pat Verbeek. For the Islanders, Green with Todd Bertuzzi and Patrick Flatley. Puck squirts up into the crowd. Rangers 4-1 against the Islanders this year, but the Islanders won the last meeting at Madison Square Garden 5-3. And Denny, that game ended the Rangers' 24-game home ice unbeaten streak. Kevin Lowe, the only injured Ranger, Lacroix, Jernander, and Karpovtsev, the healthy scratches.
You know, that's a problem, or the situation that we're facing here. Fischel is a little bit of a surprise start for the New York Islanders. We thought for sure Soderstrom would be in. He's the one who beat the Rangers the last time they met.
And for Eric Fischel, his 2nd career start against the Rangers. Rangers defeated Eric Fischel and the Islanders 4-2 here at the Nassau Coliseum in February. Opening minute of play from Uniondale, Long Island. Flatly, right circle shot, sticked out by Richter. Kept alive by Todd Bertuzzi. And now Messier clears to center. Graves shooting in right side of the Islander net. Marius Kasparaitis back for the Islanders. Both teams in the midst of line changes. Sigmund Palffy, the Islanders' top goal scorer with 39, lost the handle. Here's Mark Messier. Kept alive by Marty McSorley, and it's blockered out by Fischel. McSorley playing his 6th game with the Rangers. Over the stick, the former Islander Bill Burr. Now the steal by Marty McGinnis. He scored!
Now one of the problems goalie Campbell, the coach of the New York Rangers, wants to solve is what he considers a bit of a porous defense lately. They just have not gelled. Again, getting stripped by this young man, Marty McGinnis, wants to play to the right of your screen. Seems like the Rangers should be in good control. But old Samuelson commits. Nicholas Sundstrom can't catch up to Marty McGinnis, who puts the first shot of the game past, well, the second shot, I should say, past Richter.
Marty McGinnis scored 2 goals the last time these teams met. The Islanders' victory at Madison Square Garden. And this is his 11th goal of the season.
Marty McGinnis is a leader in points for the New York Islanders in the season series against the New York Rangers. McGinnis coming into the game had 5 points on 2 goals, 3 assists. This is 3rd goal in the season series and a total of 6 points. McGinnis has had a very comfortable season against the New York Rangers, and right away the Rangers, who have not been spectacular of late, they've had a little trouble since the last time the New York Islanders met them and beat them in Madison Square Garden to end that home winning or non-losing streak, and now they put the Rangers down by 1 early.
The goal coming just 1 minute, 19 seconds in. 11th goal for McGinnis. Rangers unable to keep in as the Islanders shoot down ice. Alt Samuelson back behind the Ranger net. Darby Hendrickson, the lone assist on the goal by McGinnis. Marty McGinnis just returned to the Islander lineup yesterday. He had missed 7 of the previous 8 games with a rib injury. Ryan McCabe set to the boards by Bill Berg. Nicholas Sundstrom chops it behind the Islander net. Berg and McCabe continue to battle. It's worked up the boards. Sundstrom sends in deep to Berg. Sergio Momesso centers. Got LaChance for the Islanders. Shoots it up the boards. Now it's LaChance once again. 2.5 minutes gone by in this opening period from the Nassau Coliseum. Islanders lead the Rangers 1-0. Comes to center. Derek Armstrong could not control. Now he does. Bruce Driver back at his own blue line. Across to Doug Lidster.
The Islanders do well to get scoring early. The first period traditionally is the only period where they really compete.
Kovalev in front. Passes behind Curry. And the Islanders, who have lost 8 consecutive games, showing signs of life here in this first period. The rivalry brings out the best in the New York Islanders.
Well, there's no doubt it always has, and this young team is just getting a taste of the rivalry. But in first period hockey, as we say, they compete. Second and third period seems like they lack the kind of intensity that they show early. We'll see if that changes today against the Rangers.
Sergei Nemchinov clears right on McCabe. Shane Charlotte chases down. He's stripped by McGinnis. Pass goes astray, intended for Jarrett Dooling. Jeff Bukaboom back with 3.5 gone by. Period number 1 as Shane Charlotte shoots in. Patrick Flatley, the Islanders' captain. Travis Green chops it out. And Cheetoff sends back in. 20-year-old Brian McCabe keeps it away from Langdon. This is LaChance. 1-0 Islander lead on the goal by Marty McInnes at the 1:19 mark of this first period.
As we see a lot of line changes without any whistles, we don't expect that there'll be a lot of matching by Coach Colin Campbell. He just wants his team to go out and play hard and play well. He's still not happy or convinced that his team is out of the slump.
The Rangers have won 2 of their last 3 games, but the one loss on Sunday night, 8-2 embarrassment at the hands of the Pittsburgh Penguins. They came back and shut out Florida 3-0 on Wednesday. Pass was behind Messier. Ball feed to Bertuzzi, and his shot was blocked by Marty McSorley. Messier on the right wing. Here's Verbeek, and his shot was blocked. Kasparaitis got a stick down. Islanders come back 4-on-2, led by Potvin. He was looking to set up Hendrickson.
Well, a nice defensive play by Brian Leach, getting his stick out where it matters the most. Always keeping the stick on the ice. That time he redirected the puck out of danger.
And here's Leach, cuts away from Hendrickson, clears to center. Non-stop action in this first period, 5:15 gone by. Darby Hendrickson across the Ranger line.
I don't know if Richter just missed that or if he knew it was going to go wide of the net.
Messier drops it off, Leach walks in and shoots it wide. Here's the beach backhander, Fischel to stop. Kept alive by Bukaboom. Hard carom off the boards. Luke Robitaille to Mark Messier. Robitaille robbed by Fischel. Verbeek shot blocked by the chance. Skated out by McInnes.
You've got to give Fischel first star of the game to this point. What a save on Robitaille. Robitaille's had trouble scoring this year. First year, he's not going to be in that 45-goal average. Well, last year, of course, with a shortened season, only 23, but robbed point blank by Fischel.
Alexei Kovalev carries behind the goal. Here's Curry setting up Lidster, hops away. Another odd man rush for the Islanders. But they're in the zone too soon. Offsides. 13:40 remaining in the first. Islanders by a goal.
Well, you got a chance by Robitaille and a great save by Fischel. Well, we're going to show you Leach coming in left of your screen. Watch, he's looking for the screen and looking for the shot. You know, Leach is so great. You see how he moved afterwards? Went after the net. Robitaille, watch this. Robitaille comes in. He knows he's got an open net. At least he thinks he does. Fischel closes the door low. Incredible save by Fischel. This young goaltender, the youngest to play in a Islander uniform. Sorry about that, folks. In an Islander uniform in the history. The youngest goaltender. Big save on Robitaille.
Eric Fischel making his 5th start in the last 6 games. Number 1 star yesterday in Hartford despite the loss as Nemchinov shoots in behind the Islander net. Wrist shot by Lidster was blocked. As the Islanders look to break out, we've played 7 minutes in this first period. The Islanders on the scoreboard first. Schurrle floats one. Langdon could not get to it. And once again, the Islanders clear.
Now, there's no doubt that the Islanders are aware the Rangers have not played since last Wednesday. And there's no doubt.
Here's a steal. Burns shot. And Fischel turns it aside.
That Fischel is really on.
No doubt about that. Another hard carom off these boards. We've seen 2 or 3 of those so far. Kasparaitis clears to center.
Now, the Islanders' game plan had to be jump on the Rangers quickly because they haven't played since last Wednesday. In the past few weeks, they haven't played a lot at all. The Rangers might be a little rusty. Islanders trying to take advantage.
Islanders, of course, played yesterday afternoon. So look and see how their legs are in the third period.
Well, third period has not been friendly to them. They've been outscored 102 goals to 50 in third period hockey. Some say don't even bother coming out for the third period.
Now here's Nicholas Anderson walking in, and Richter makes the stop this time on the Islanders rookie. 4th odd man rush for the Islanders. Rangers have not had any odd man rush, meaning a breakaway or a 2-on-1, 3-on-2.
Well, you can forget about worrying about Richter's timing. On that play, he came out beautifully. He timed it perfectly so that Anderson had nothing to shoot at. A strong save early here by Richter as well.
And Plot over skates, Graves feeds for Beak, and the backhander is stopped by Fischel.
And a one-handed backhander, no less, by Pat Verbeek. First time on the ice in a game in the last 9 for the Rangers. I've noticed that Verbeek on the line with Messier and Graves has been the first one off on every shift. He's taken his early shifts short.
Just getting his wind and his strength back.
Well, he talked about the only thing he really worries about is his timing. He's confident in his conditioning.
Here's Palffy, stripped by Messier. The Rangers captain with some time drops it off to Jeff Bookeboom. Now Verbeek on the right wing. Flips down. Kenny Janssen shoots in. Fast-paced first period. Now the Rangers move ahead. 3-on-2. Doug Lidster holds, could not get the shot off.
Well, again, really good play, both defensively and by the goaltender. The Islanders covered all the ice.
Nice pass, McInnes to Luongo, who floats one wide. Palffy tripped up by Kovalev. As we hit the 10-minute mark of this first period, Curry's pass intercepted by Green. Robitaille and Green in the near corner. Kovalev centers. Here's Curry's backhand shot. It stopped. Another opportunity. And now an Islander penalty. Tripping call indicated by the referee, Richard Trottier. So the Rangers to the power play when we return.
Sigmund Palffy in the penalty box. Watch the trip right there on Yari Curry as Curry's trying to deliver a shot. But a little earlier, the fans here thought maybe Palffy had drawn a penalty. But look where the puck is, right there. Kovalev going after the puck is able to do that.
Rangers 5th in the NHL on the power play, but only 3 of their last 27.
Well, you can bet that Adam Graves, Messier, and Verbeek, well, in particular, Adam Graves, he's going to be in the face of Fischel. But over here on the right, Verbeek is the guy who's welcome back. He's got 15 power play goals, has missed the last 9 games. He leads the Rangers in power play goals. They just have not had the life that Verbeek can bring. He brings his scoring ability. That's great. But right now, it's his character and his grit that is probably more welcome than anything else.
And there we see Verbeek battling with Pat Conacher, but Verbeek will head off.
Well, that competitive spirit and that grit might have just gotten him over the hump right there. Trottier is going to even it out early. Pat Verbeek, sort of an innocent victim of one of those rules that was implemented early in the season. He as soon as the back is turned, Pat Conacher turns his back, all of a sudden Verbeek becomes a target for hitting from behind. And it's a tough penalty, but one that Trottier felt that he had to call. Pat Verbeek getting called for tripping. Pat Conacher doing a pretty good job of drawing that one.
And Rangers coach Colin Campbell has complained all season long about needless penalties, and here we see a penalty in the offensive zone just 16 seconds into the Ranger power play. Campbell very upset about many of the penalties the Rangers have taken this year.
Well, he should be. I mean, that was not the kind of penalty that you want, but as I said, Verbeek, an innocent victim in trying to dig the puck out. You remember how Palffy got tripped by Kovalev. This is a similar situation. When the puck is in the player's feet.
Offsides called on the Islanders. And now for an NHL update. Let's head to Hollywood. Here's James Brown.
Kenny, Detroit and St. Louis featuring the glow puck. And take a look at this glowing move by Slava Kozlov, deking his way past 3 defenders, backhanded from 20. That ties his career-high 34 goals. Red Wings on top, 1-0. Back to Kenny Albert and Dennis Potvin.
Wow. How about that right cross?
Some extracurricular activity.
Like Kozlov.
Red Wings have already clinched the President's Trophy, best record overall during the regular season.
What an outstanding season the Red Wings are having. They're sure to break that 60-win record set by Bowman's Canadians in the 70s.
And then we'll look to atone as Messier with the cross ice to Kovalev. Red Wings will look to atone for that final round sweep by the New Jersey Devils a year ago. Team still at 4 aside, lots of open ice. as Kovalev carries to the Islanders zone. Shot right on, and Fischel is able to make the stop. We'll return to the Nassau Coliseum in just a moment with the Islanders ahead by a goal. Welcome back to Long Island. This replay is brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Now that pair getting together, Messier to Kovalev, just not able to get the stick on it. Again, Fischel doing pretty good work with his hockey stick, derailing the attempt of Kovalev.
Rangers win the face-off, still at 4 aside. Islanders will enjoy a brief 16-second power play momentarily. Scott LeChance cuts away from Curry. Now fires one, sticked out by Richter. Only the second Islanders shot over the last 10 minutes of play. Rangers out shooting the Islanders 6-4. Nemchinov carries to the slot. Curry held off by McCabe with 8 minutes to go in the first period. Marty McInnes opened the scoring. 1 minute, 19 seconds in on a breakaway. Curry pushed to the ice by McCabe. LeChance flips to center. And now Palfy out of the box. So the Islanders with the brief power play. Ryan Leach fires the length of the ice. Verbeek getting set to return. And once again, we are at full and equal strength. Two-line pass called to the Islanders with 7:23 to go. And there is Darius Kasparaitis, the Islanders nominee for the Bill Masterton Trophy for perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to the sport of hockey.
Well, he certainly is a dedicated athlete. If for nothing else, for the way he competes, hasn't made a lot of friends around the National Hockey League. And I can think of, I guess, the most recent one, Mike Peluso in New Jersey. He comes and hits low and oftentimes not regarded as a good hit, but he is a battler, and his best year, his first year when he was in the face of Mario Lemieux. Who could forget that 1993 playoff? He was paired with Pilon on the back line. And Pilon had a great quote. He says, "We play really well together because we know we have to watch for each other's backside." A couple of tough customers and big competitors. Pilon out now with an injury, and Kasparaitis in here today.
Kasparaitis has battled Lemieux and Messier, and he says, hey, what's the difference? They're all hockey players. I'm not going to play the superstars any differently.
Well, they were looking at one of the 30-something club right here, Mark Messier. Certainly is not playing like it. But look at this. This is the New York Rangers, 14 players over 30 years old. And as we were coming in, I guess it's no surprise to us, but and maybe not to you, 5 bags of 20-pound ice. Five 20-pound bags of ice were delivered to the New York Ranger dressing room before the hockey game. You think these old bodies need a little ice before?
Actually, 4 bags went to the Ranger dressing room, 1 here to the broadcast booth. Here's the chance for the Islanders at center, flipping down. They haven't forgotten you here at the Coliseum. 1-0 Islander lead. Sergio Momesso from long range. Blockered out by Fischel. Eric Fischel outstanding in this first period. Only 20 years of age, acquired last year from Toronto. Bruce Schreiber having trouble in this first period. That's the second time he's lost an edge. Both teams make line changes. Kasparaitis watched by the forechecking Pat Verbeek. Things have slowed down quite a bit since the opening couple of minutes. Now Verbeek leads Messier, and he is stopped by Fischel.
Well, you talk about a young man who's having a whale of a night. A choice by Mike Milbury. Before the game, we were all told that Soderstrom was going to play. Everybody was under the impression that Soderstrom was going to be in net. Fischel, a surprise starter. Obviously, up to this point, the right choice by Coach Milbury.
There's Messier once again. Out to McSorley. Now Kasparaitis for the Islanders. Throws up the boards. When Eric Fischel was recalled from Worcester of the American Hockey League earlier this season, the Islanders had a game at Madison Square Garden as Messier shoots over the net. And Mike Milbury is asked if Fischel would get the start. And Milbury said, I'm not going to start the kid in his first trip to the zoo. I'll let him sit and watch a game first.
Well, you don't know what Mike Milbury is really going to tell you. Obviously, he's changed his mind tonight. We look at Mark Messier. Watch what Messier does on his break, and watch what the young guy Pichot does one better. Mark Messier getting the pass from Verbeek. Now Messier's in full stride, so he doesn't have to keep moving. He can stop skating and look for the opening. Pichot took it away.
8 Ranger shots here in the first period.
Guy Chiron, the assistant coach or the associate coach, along with Rick Bowness, was telling me about Pichot. The reason why they can play him and not worry. Oftentimes playing a goaltender who's so young, you risk having him lose his confidence and never gaining it back. Pichot's attitude is great, Guy Chiron was telling me. He just doesn't dwell on goals. He acts like a veteran in handling what's happened in the past. He's always looking ahead. Strong trait for young goaltenders, particular goaltenders who take a little longer to mature.
Unfortunately for Eric Pichot, the Islanders have scored only 8 goals in his last 5 starts. They've had tremendous problems putting the puck in the net. They've been held to 1 goal in the last 3 games, Danny, in 5 of the last 7.
And certainly you know that in the draft, the New York Islanders, Milbury's going to be looking for forwards, for some offense, maybe even in the free agency market. They've got a bunch of first-rounders on defense, albeit young. Now they need to build up in the scoring area.
And here's Palffy, one guy who has not had any trouble scoring this season, leading the club with 39 goals. Palffy shoots in.
And that's good for her. Tied for 16th in the National Hockey League. Palffy up there with the big gunners, especially on a team that has not scored a lot throughout the season. Quite an accomplishment by a young man who just a year ago, the team had almost given up on him.
Crowd reacts. Big hit by Jeff Bukaboom on rookie Jarrett Dooling of the Islanders. 4:10 to go in the first as Turley taps down ice. Pichot hesitated, now plays it up the boards. The drive by Bukaboom, and the Pichot got back. Loose in front. McCabe clears the zone. On Bertuzzi across the Ranger line. Conacher deflects it towards the net, and Richter puts the clamps down. 3:51 on the clock here in the first. We'll be back. Kenny Albert, Eddie Potvin from the Nassau Coliseum, and here we see the hit by Jeff Bukaboom on Jarrett Dooling.
Well, that's one of the things you got to keep your eye open for. Jeff Bukaboom, solid hitter. We heard the boos here. I'm not so sure if it was the Islander fans or the Ranger fans yelling for Bukaboom.
Jeff Bukaboom has heard the boot chants at several rinks around the National Hockey League, aside from Madison Square Garden. So many Ranger fans around the country, and no less here at the Nassau Coliseum. One save is made by Richter with 3:27 on the clock. Then on Sunday, don't miss the excitement of the NHL on Fox. Mark Messier and these New York Rangers face off against the New Jersey Devils. Plus other exciting regional action. That's next Sunday. Coverage begins at 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific. Check local listings for the game and time in your area right here on Fox.
Our game's getting all more and more important for Mark Messier and the New York Rangers. They want to get back on track, and you know, the fact is they played so few games in the past couple of weeks that it's probably hurt them a little bit. Almost too much time to practice. This is a hockey team that thrived in December when they've had to play 17 games. But since then, the pace has slowed down, but not so in the month of April. The Rangers are going to play a lot of hockey. As a matter of fact, they're playing 4 games in the next 6 days.
Adam Graves shoots one on the screen. Yes, during that month of December, only 3 losses in 17 games.
Well, that's very typical of an older team as well. Players don't want to practice all that much. You want to be able to play the games. As the team gets a little older, you'll find that that's what they'd rather do. And the Rangers, definitely one of the older teams in the National Hockey League. As a matter of fact, the second oldest in the National Hockey League.
And by adding players such as Marty McSorley, who puts one in, that average age has risen over these last few weeks. McSorley, Curry, and Schurler coming over from the LA Kings. Graves moves in front, throws off the side of the net. Here's Verbeek. Pass intercepted and cleared out of play by Brian McCabe. We'll be back from the Nassau Coliseum momentarily.
You play the body first in your own zone. Too many defensemen today are looking more at the puck to try and get it out. They think transition is stripping a guy of the puck and going offensively. Transition is taking the man out of the play. then you move the puck up offensively. Kasparaitis does it well.
Islanders win the faceoff. Marty McGinnis moves to center. The lone goal scorer so far this afternoon with 2:15 to go in the first period.
Quick line change by Milbury, getting Palffy on against the third line of the New York Rangers.
Nemchinov blocks the attempted clear by McCain. Luke Robitaille centers. Kovalev is blocked by LeChance. How many blocked shots is that, Denny, here in this first period?
We've counted 10 blocked shots. The New York Rangers have had 23 attempts at the net. 10 of them have been blocked, and 4 shots were wide. And the New York Rangers really having the better of the play at the moment.
Now Kovalev shoots one. The save is made by Fischio. Flatley and Driver battling along the far boards. Here's Kovalev. Quick shot. Robitaille could not get to the rebound. Pushed away by Travis Green.
Now, Robitaille maybe in the past has sort of not had a lot of emotion in his goal scoring. Last week, a couple of goals against the Florida Panthers, and he didn't look like he was all that excited about it. Today, he looks like he's more emotionally involved in front of the net. He's been beaten twice by Fischio.
And now an interference call as Bill Berg came together with Kenny Janssen, who will head off, so the Rangers will go to the man advantage. Coming up during our first intermission, James Brown and Dave Maloney will bring you all the scores and highlights from around the league. Also, JB will have a look at the ups and downs of St. Louis Blues goaltender Grant Fuhr, who today set an NHL record with his 76th consecutive start in goal this season. That's all coming up during our first intermission.
Kenny Janssen in the penalty box. You'll watch to see Kenny Janssen up there. He drives. Well, he drives the Ranger in the boards and gets the interference. Robitaille just inches away from being able to get to the puck. Again, Robitaille foiled and not happy with the missed opportunities so far. Maybe it's that shield. Clean it a little bit. Sharpen up the sights.
Now Driver's shot glances off the side of the net. Yes, you must be able to see out on the ice. Islanders clear down. Rangers' second power play. The first one only 16 seconds. Interference call on Janssen at 18:49. Final minute of this first period. Messier centering Graves and Verbeek. Leach to Messier. Messier held up by Kasparaitis. Using his strength, carries to the far corner. Now Leach. Driver could not hold in.
Now the Rangers have really had a problem in the last little while with the power play. They've just not been able to put it away. They've come into the game. They were 3 for 26 coming into this hockey game.
20 seconds to go. Kasparaitis taken down by Messier. Puck lodged underneath.
One of the things that really makes this power play work, of course, is Brian Leach being able to get the puck to the net. And then you've got either Messier playing the boards, but you've got Verbeek back in front of the net. Verbeek is the one who's going to time the shot by this young man, Leach. Leach, who is leading the defensemen in scoring in the National Hockey League, loves to get that little wrist shot in there. And Verbeek tries to time it so that he gets to the front of the net just as the puck gets there. The great goal scorers are always the guys who have good timing, are able to find the time to get open, and when to get open is probably the most important asset for the goal scorers.
And now in these final seconds of the period, Rangers send out 4 forwards along with Leach. Messier wins the faceoff. 12 seconds to go. Leach down the boards, tripped up. Verbeek centers, and the Islanders able to clear out. And a hand pass is the call as time expires, ending this first period. And now Messier comes together with Travis Green, who took the shot on Mike Richter after the whistle. Rangers not happy with Green, and Messier lets him know.
Well, Messier, Travis Green came back as Green stopped after Messier shot the puck at him, and Travis Green turned around, shot the puck back at Messier. And the two came together, and you see Green's got a little cut on the top of his nose. There's a little shot by Messier as he went off.
One period complete from Long Island. And Mike Bilberry's Islanders 1, the Rangers nothing.
Like you, it never quits. By the new Dodge, we're thinking ahead. And by Network MCI, how to get modern communications technology working for your business.
And welcome back to Hollywood for the first intermission. Along with Dave Maloney, I'm James Brown. Let's get you caught up on the scores. Rangers out shooting the Islanders 13-4, but trailed by a goal that after a period of play. Grant Fuhrer warming up.
That's right, the spirit of 76, his 76th consecutive start. Grant Fuhrer should have had this one, folks. But what a play by Kozlov. 20-foot backhander stretched out. Got to stop those ones. You want to go anywhere in the playoffs. But he makes up for it here. One-on-one with Steve Yzerman. Goes far side. Fuhrer matches him up. Same play. The great one against Mike Vernon. Watch Vernon stretch out. What a save off the glove. They love him in the Motor City.
Fox Tracks working well in that one. Detroit on top by a goal. That guy, Jaromir Jagr, can wear his hair as long as he wants.
That's right. 60-some-odd goals. He can wear them anyway. This is the 42nd one for Nedved over the left shoulder of Ronnie Hextall. Peter Nedved over. Great pass from Zubac. Speaking of passing, Lindros out to Leclerc. Over Tommy Barrasso's right hand, Eric Lindros and John Leclerc hooking up. 1-1 at the end of one. Chicago captain Chris Chelios having a super season. Enjoying another Norris Trophy type year. He gets beat here. No, he doesn't really. Benoit Hogue stays right with him, does Chelios. The puck kind of flitters around. Hogue chips it in over a prone Eddie Belfort. That was Dallas's first one of the afternoon.
And they're playing physically. Stars on top by a goal. Boston and Buffalo. Bruins need this one to hold on to that 8th and final spot, lead it by 1. When we come back, a profile of St. Louis's Grant Fuhrer.
Presents Saves of the Week.
This is about how you go to sleep one day, running your business the same way you always have, and wake up the next morning with things like email, voicemail, PCs, pagers, a whole new communications network. It's not a fairy tale, a myth, or a parable. This is about how things can really happen. This is about opening your eyes instead of closing them, and making a call instead of a wish. Network MCI, that's how.
Centers for Tim Sweeney. What a save by Richter.
Oh, baby.
Michael Nylander spinning, shooting, kicked out, rebound, and stop by Hurt. Anderson, stopped him. Okay, we'll swing it to Johansson, who fires. Shoot over rebound. Oh, saved by Mo. That's the play of the week, Pete.
Welcome back to Hollywood and the NHL on Fox. Today, Grant Fuhrer is in goal for the St. Louis Blues. Now, that is not a newsflash considering he's been there every game this season. But it is number 76, and that breaks his record of playing 75 games in a season. Not since Eddie Johnston of the Boston Bruins back in the 60s has a goalie started every game. Grant got a shot to do just that, something no one would have thought possible as recently as a year ago.
The man who has started every game this season for the Blues, incredible Grant Fuhrer.
What a difference a year makes. Last season, Fuhrer could barely buy a start for the lowly L.A. Kings.
The last couple of years, I kind of sat around, collected dust, so it makes you feel a little bit like an ornament where you're there, but you're not really there.
What did you see in Grant Fuhrer that made you take the risk to bring him here?
Probably the experience I've had with Grant in previous situations in Canada Cup, and then seeing him play throughout his career, certainly. And then talking to the people that were on the Gretzky tour, and then talking to Wayne himself.
Well, quite honestly, I only said a few words, and my wife reached over and kind of just said, "Mike, sign him. He's a goaltender that can play each and every night, and just get his confidence back, and he'll do a great job for you." So, as much as I'd like to take the credit, I have to be honest, it was more my wife who leaned over and said, "Mike, sign him." And the next day we were reading the papers, my wife and I are in Europe, and Grant had signed with St. Louis.
Whether it was Wayne or Wayne's wife, Keenan played a hunch that after 3 non-eventful stops in Buffalo, Toronto, and L.A., Fuhrer would regain his Stanley Cup form. Instead, he came to camp overweight and out of shape.
I was disappointed in him. I felt that he'd been given a real opportunity, and that we expected him to come in very good condition, if not top condition.
Enter Bob Kersey, who trains the world's best female athlete, Jackie Joyner Kersey.
When I saw him physically, I said, yeah, you know, this guy's obviously overweight. And when I watched him practice at Vail, being overweight and not being able to move, I mean, at that time, I didn't think he could stop a beach ball.
I feel good. So Kersey put Grant and his beat-up body on a new training regimen, which included the treadmill and a low-fat diet.
I traveled with the team for the first, I guess, 20, 30 games, and so Grant and I would sit in the plane and we'd talk about, okay, next meals, and, you know, and he hated me sitting next to him, which I just enjoyed sitting next to Grant Fear, you know, number one. But, you know, he thought I was spying on him. I said, not, because every time the food cart comes by, he said, no to this and yes to that.
You know, I asked you about what the hardest part of the program was and the best part of the program. I'm surprised you didn't mention the food, because I read somewhere that you were saying the food has no taste and you like the burgers and the fries.
I still like the burgers and the fries. It's just you got to eliminate that for summertime.
And a reminder, we're back with more pucks next Sunday. You'll see one of 5 games. Most of you will see Chicago and Detroit. And the NHL on Fox continues after this.
We'll return to the Nassau Coliseum for the start of the second period after this, and a word from our local Fox station.
NHL on Fox is brought to you by Jeep, makers of the new award-winning Jeep Grand Cherokee. By Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service. By All Sport, now with B vitamins. It's more than a thirst quencher, it's a body quencher. And by the U.S. Army. Be a part of the toughest, smartest Army in the world. Be all you can be.
Kenny Albert, Eddie Potvin back. The NHL on Fox. Islanders lead the Rangers 1-0. Our first period summary brought to you by Bud Ice. Marty McGinnis, the lone goal, his 11th of the season. Darby Hendrickson, the lone assist at the 1:19 mark. And the Rangers outshot the Islanders 13-4. Now, we stand corrected. This is the end of the first period. Travis Green of the Islanders did not shoot the puck at Mike Richter as time expired. However, Mark Messier did go after Travis Green and was called for a cross-checking penalty.
You see right there, the attention of Green is picked up by the fact that Messier shot the puck at him. I tell you, the playoffs must be near, because one of the greatest leaders in the game, Mark Messier, is getting a little antsy, if not mean, and he's drawing the attention of Brian Burke. Mark Messier right there for no apparent reason other than the fact that Travis Green beat him at the end of the period, came back and showed a little mean streak, delivering a message to Travis Green.
So Messier picks up the cross-check at the 20-minute mark. Kenny Janssen still in the box, so we play 4 aside as we start period number 2. Islanders skating left to right, Rangers right to left, and now the puck played by a high stick.
Well, right away, the penalties are going to be evened up immediately by referee Trache. Darby Hendricks is going to go off for interference, or is it holding he's calling?
Holding the stick.
Holding the stick. So right away, the penalty to Messier is nullified. Might be interesting to note that before we came back on air, the moment Mark Messier jumped on the ice, coming back from the dressing room, we could see him skate the full circumference of the rink right next to Trache and talking into his ear. We have to assume that maybe Messier's talk to Mr. Trache had something to do with Trache being very aware of what Darby Hendrickson did right there. Watch his left hand slide down the shaft of the stick. Trache's looking very closely and calls that interference or holding.
So the Rangers now with the 4-on-3 advantage for 29 seconds. Then Janssen will return, and we will play 4 aside once again. So the Rangers to their 3rd power play. It's a 4-on-3. They send out 3 forwards and Brian Leach. Leach with lots of room. Walks in, shoots, and Fischel got a piece of it with the catching glove.
I just can't say enough about this young man, Eric Fischel. He has been challenged a couple of times by Brian Leach, the top scoring defenseman in the NHL, and every time he has won. I talked to Bob Nystrom between the period, asked him about Fischel. He said, Denny, you won't imagine it. You can't imagine how thin this guy's arms are. I can't imagine how he can take the bruising of 100-mile-an-hour slap shots. Eric Fischel doesn't seem to mind. The only time he said he was nervous was when he played against his boyhood idol, Mario Lemieux, in Pittsburgh.
Luke Robitaille sets up Brian Leach. Puck deflects to the corner. Now Janssen returns. It's a 4-on-4. Pass from Robitaille across was stuffed. Verbeek's shot is blocked. 4-on-4 for the next minute. Graves battling with McGinnis. Sends in behind the Islander goal. McCabe keeps it away from Verbeek. Kenny Janssen skates it out. Here's McGinnis on the left wing. Tries to put a move on Leach. And now Richter makes the stop on Janssen. Colfie spins behind the Ranger net. Sends out to the point. Janssen could not hold in.
Both McGinnis and Janssen were just a couple of feet away from the high slot. Able to turn that play into a solid opportunity on Richter.
Still 4 aside. In 15 seconds, Messier will return. And the Rangers will go back on the power play. Harry Curry shoots in. 2 minutes gone by. Second period. 1-goal Islander lead. Marty McGinnis's 11th goal of the season. Now Messier returns. 17 seconds on the Hendrickson penalty. Messier curls in his own zone. Up the middle to Kovalev. Kovalev takes behind the net. Hendrickson is back. So it's now 5-on-5. Both teams full strength. The chance across. Here's Palfy, shoots over the net.
Well, I'm not sure Richter saw that all the way. The shot seemed to surprise Richter a little bit. Palfy getting it over the net, shooting through the screen. Mike Richter, of course, coming back from an extended growing injury. Twice he hurt it. New York Ranger fans have to sort of keep thinking in the back of their minds. This is a guy we want to be sharp in the playoffs. You got to have his timing, his health, certainly most important.
And there is former New York Islander Glenn Healy. Spent 4 years here on Long Island. Helped lead the Islanders to the 1993 semifinals.
Well, it's unbelievable at the time that the New York Islanders wouldn't sign him, that they would let him go. After the kind of playoffs he had in 1993, brought the team, or helped bring the team to the semifinals, upsetting the Pittsburgh Penguins. Well, for all of his troubles and his heartaches at the time, Glenn Healy's been compensated with a New York Rangers Stanley Cup.
And he played in 29 consecutive games during Mike Richter's absence due to the groin injury, and played well. Momesso tips one towards the net. McCabe and Momesso get the gloves up. Play continues. Messier centers one. Broken up by Severn. Robitaille sends behind. Messier and Momesso play catch.
There's a real battle in front of the net between Momesso and McCabe. The young McCabe, a solid defenseman, an emerging leader for these Islanders. So says Mike Milbury. He's a tough young customer.
Only 20 years of age. Mike Milbury says, I can't even imagine my 19-year-old son playing in the NHL. And here's a guy with so much poise and confidence in Brian McCabe.
You know, the New York Islanders have had 16 rookies in the lineup at varying times throughout this season. Almost unbelievable. 48 players have worn the uniform, 16 of them rookies. Incredible.
Talk about the adversity the Islanders have faced this year. They fired general manager Don Maloney. They suffered through the holdout and subsequent trade of Kirk Muller as Richter knocks it down in front. 7 concussions suffered by Islanders. As you mentioned, they've used 48 players. There's the shot by Charlotte, gloved by Fischel. They've also lost 458 man games due to injury. Tough season for the Islanders, but they're playing well here this afternoon.
Momesso, you see the end of his nose, a little red there. I think it might be because of this altercation. Watch McCabe. Boy, I tell you, he is so poised. Kenny Albert was telling us about the poise of this young man as compared to Milbury's 19-year-old son. McCabe giving a bigger Momesso a tough time. McCabe is just a good, solid young defenseman, and he can fight. We've seen him go before. He's a tough young customer, and as I said before, Milbury thinks he's an emerging leader.
Not that Mike's 19-year-old son is not poised and mature, but he just wanted to point out that...
Well, not as an NHL player.
Yes, not as an NHL player. But Mike Milbury himself did not enter the National Hockey League until 24 years of age. Played in college and the minor leagues, and he even handed Brian McCabe the assistant captain's A earlier this season.
Well, he thinks of him as a leader on and off the ice. There's no doubt about it. McCabe was born in St. Catharines, Ontario, but he played his hockey in the Western Junior League.
Now from a tough angle, Klotz is stopped by Richter. The shot by Dan Klotz. Chasing Samuelson, Churla over as well. And the Islanders keep it alive. Here's Severin. Slipped one over the net. Nicholas Anderson, Nicholas Sundstrom. This is Anderson. Across to Severin. And he fires wide. Kept alive on the left point by McCabe. Sustained pressure by the Islanders. 36-year-old Pat Conacher backhands behind the net. Anderson. And a penalty upcoming on the Rangers. Severin fires wide. Darren Langdon, the culprit, will head to the penalty box. Good work by the Islanders, and Langdon is called for hooking.
Well, you know, we're talking about Brian McCabe. This is Brian McCabe who draws the penalty right there on Darren Langdon. Now, Langdon's got to watch the point man, but watch to the left of your screen. It's Brian McCabe coming in the high slot right there, and Langdon's got to pull him down. McCabe had the opening. He had the stick down. He was ready to redirect the puck in the net. Brian McCabe not only showing his toughness at the other end against Momesso, but watch the intuitiveness to get in there and almost got to the puck. Langdon, actually, that's one of those penalties that he can feel pretty good about. His teammates are saying, hey, that's the kind of penalty you got to take. It's a team penalty. We'll kill it for you, or at least the New York Rangers will try. A couple of good plays by young players, McCabe and Langdon.
Second Islanders power play this afternoon, and despite all their problems this season, they've been consistent with the man advantage. 9th in the NHL, connecting at just under 20%. Travis Green with Zygmunt Palffy and Todd Bertuzzi. Marty McInnis on the point, lost it. Messier in a race with McInnis, and then Messier has soldiered off the puck. The danger of a forward playing the point illustrated there as McInnis could not hold in.
Well, neither the Rangers or the Islanders are very big. Well, there's Messier is going to get another penalty. Mark Messier seemed to have lost a little bit of his cool.
Travis Green shoots deflected wide.
And Kenny Janssen, who is the recipient of that hit, we can see him now going over to the penalty box. Mark Messier playing more physical than we've seen him before. In the past couple of weeks, of course, the cross-check on Roberts, the alleged spear on Nedved, and now already with a man in the penalty box, Messier going into a situation where there's not much happening. Elbows young 20-year-old Ken Janssen. Messier looking over at Trottier, seeing whether or not he might have gotten away with it. You have to question the decision right there by Mark Messier to take a position, take a penalty in this location of the ice and at this particular time.
Elbowing minor at 6:25. So for the next minute 20, the Islanders will enjoy a two-man advantage. Langdon and Messier in the box. Janssen took the brunt of the elbow. 21-year-old defenseman. He's been compared to longtime Toronto Maple Leaf Boya Salming.
Well, I tell you, that's a major comparison. I played against Boya Salming for many years. Quite an outstanding defenseman. I happened to meet this young man at the draft in Quebec a few years ago, and Janssen's quite a nice young man. Whether or not he'll be Salming is yet to be seen. Islanders, not a lot of success in games and a playoff against the Rangers. Only 10% coming into the game is their scoring efficiency on the power play. As I say, coming into the game.
McCabe to Palffy, stand on it. Travis Green Out to the point. 5-on-3 advantage for the Islanders. McCabe, line shoots, sticked out by Richter, and the rebound shot wide by Green. Deflects out of play, and the faceoff will come outside the Ranger blue line.
You know, Travis Green made that that move like, yeah, bleep, I guess we should say. He had the open net. Watch the follow-through once Green gets a chance at the rebound. Top of your screen is McCabe. McCabe's been passing. This time, he's looking for the opening to shoot. He's already looked at his opening. He knows he's going to shoot. Watch coming into the right side of your screen. Puck going right here over top. Here's a second angle you see in the back of your screen. Green coming in. He knows the net's open. He's following through. Just a little overzealous in the follow-through. Face-off will go outside because it went right off of Green's stick into the crowd.
Green, the Islanders' second leading scorer, 62 points on the season, wins the face-off. Bertuzzi with time, and Richter to save once again.
You know, Bertuzzi represents the element why this Islander power play can and probably will become very, very good. I mean, with the hands of Green and the hands of Potvin, the size of Bertuzzi, and if they can get Bertuzzi to be a little more aggressive at 225 pounds, maybe 230, he can be really dangerous in front of the opposition because he himself possesses some pretty good hands. And remember, on the point, they're using McInnes and Brian McCabe. And if they can get him signed, Berard is on his way. So you can see the potential for a lot of exciting power plays in the future for the Islanders.
Half minute to go on a two-man advantage as the Rangers clear down ice. In 23 seconds, Darren Langdon will return. Still a 5-on-3 for the Islanders. They lead 1-0. Marty McInnes. Leaned on by Leach. McSorley battling with Potvin. Puck in the skates of McSorley, kept alive by the Islanders. McInnes floats behind the goal. Langdon has returned. It's now a 5-on-4. Cross-ice pass, and Potvin floats it wide. Langdon clears down ice with 25 seconds on the one-man. Islander man advantage. Mark Messier in the box, second time this afternoon. Now the steal by Sundstrom. Pichot lines it up the boards. McCabe flips it ahead. Darby Hendrickson. Henderson shoots, and Richter another stop. Flatley chases down. Messier returns. Rangers kill off the 5-on-3 and the 5-on-4. Bird and Flatley battle. Samuelson over as well. Here's Anderson. Puts on the brakes. Rolls in front. And the Rangers able to keep it out. Puck nearly rolled over the goal line.
It's redirected by Berg. Berg almost put it in his own net. Trying to knock the puck down, almost went between the legs of Richter.
Rangers almost caught with too many men on ice. 11 minutes to play, second period. Sergio Momesso thrown to the boards by Chris Luongo. Driver sends towards the goal.
Well, this doesn't have the atmosphere of a hockey game where the two teams are 48 points apart in the standings. I tell you, the fans are right on the edge of their seats. This is a great hockey game. Not a lot of whistles, not a lot of offside. Good discipline by both teams.
Dueling champs of Let's Go Rangers and Let's Go Islanders. Alexei Kovalev in front, broken up, cleared by Flatley. Doug Litzner touches up for the icing. 10:15 to go in the second. 1-0 Islander lead. Welcome back to the Nassau Coliseum. This replay brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Palfi gets a shot. He misses it. He's not happy. But watch what he does. This is like a playoff game. Watch this. Yes, I'm not happy. They're 48 points behind the Rangers, but the intensity of the Islanders is showing right there. I think maybe Leach might have been a little edgy, thinking that Palfi was going to swing his broken stick at him, but not the case. No penalties on the play.
Let's see. I remember Bo Jackson breaking a bat over his knee after striking out, but breaking your hockey stick during play while on the ice?
Well, you know what I want to know is why you associated with the Rangers, me with the Islanders, why you threw an elbow while we were away here.
Well, Sergei Nemchinov has put one home. As we discuss elbowing, the Rangers have tied the game at 1, and they finally beat Eric Fischel on their 18th shot today.
Well, he elbowed his way into a position where no New York Islander was. And the New York Ranger fans, which have to number at least 60% of the people in the building, are on their feet. Well, it's a good work of Adam Graves. Now, he gets the puck right off the skate of Brian McCabe. And there's Nemchinov just picking up what is basically a freebie. The puck comes to him. Fischel's not there. McCabe not able to turn and get across in time as the puck goes off of the skate, and Nemchinov finding himself with the puck laying there in the open net. It's a 1-1 hockey game.
Sergei Nemchinov with his 3rd goal in the last 3 games. 10:02 the time. Graves and driver assist. Rangers look for more. Messier followed up by McCabe. Sorry about that elbow.
Well, the action is hot and heavy. It's a great hockey game. Getting everybody involved.
Double missile in front. Messier banned on it with Fischel sliding right to left. Here comes McInnes. Strong game for Marty McInnes. He's been all over the ice.
As we said, he leads the Islanders in point totals against, in the season series anyway, against the New York Rangers. And got the Islanders on the board early. Well, Mark Messier, you know, that intensity, I tell you something, it is starting to show. Now you can talk about all the things as we have, as what he's done in the last couple of weeks, so that his physical game has been stepped up. 17 games Mark Messier went without a penalty minute. Not so in the last couple of weeks. He's stepping it up for the playoffs. And Messier right there, who might have thought that the puck was going to be on his stick, just missed. McInnes at the other end, and that's the way the game is. The game's been going 200 feet in a matter of seconds. One opportunity at one end, right away the Islanders or the Rangers bring it up to the other end, creating another opportunity. It's been an outstanding game.
And now the Islanders have called their lone 30-second timeout. Mike Bilberry addressing the troops. We are tied at 1. And the New York Islanders, separated by 48 points in the standings, as you pointed out, tied at 1 here this afternoon.
Well, it's interesting that Mike Milbury would call the timeout so early in the hockey game. Just over 9 minutes left in the second period, but he felt that the Rangers might have been taking things too much in hand. He wanted to try and slow things down.
And we mentioned earlier the possibility of the Rangers coming on as the game moves along. They had not played since Wednesday, getting their legs back. Islanders, on the other hand, as Curry is turned aside by Fischel. Islanders played yesterday afternoon in Hartford. 2 consecutive afternoon games this weekend. Here's Robitaille, looks to center. The chance, and Sundstrom in the far corner. The chance kicks it along. Robitaille for Curry. For Luongo, clears the zone with 8.5 to go in the second. McInnes and Nemchinov, the goal scorer. Armstrong with the blast. McInnes, or Samuelson got a piece of it. Now Samuelson and Armstrong come together, continue to jostle as Nemchinov skates it out. And there is a textbook hip check by Darius Kasparaitis.
And the fans love it here. At least once a game, Kasparaitis will catch somebody. And this time, Nemchinov, the scorer, got a good solid hit. And it wasn't too low. One of the things that was often complained about on Kasparaitis' hit, he didn't go all that low to the knees.
Now it comes in front. Good hustle by Verbeek as the Rangers keep the puck in. Graves lets it go out to the point. Litzner. And McCabe clears off the glass.
Well, the Islanders need a change now. Players are getting a little tired. They haven't been out of their zone for a while.
Kasparaitis throws all the way down. Icing call. Now Kasparaitis and Graves come together.
Well, I tell you, it has all the earmarks of a playoff game.
1-1 score. We'll be right back. Kasperitis and Adam Graves come together, and Graves got the stick up high, 12:37. Here it is. So the Islanders head to their 4th power play.
Well, that's the kind of thing that Kasperitis, not only he hits well, but he can draw a lot of penalties, because he obviously irritated Adam Graves there, who took a penalty. And again, the play was at the other end of the ice at the time. So when you talk about discipline, not showing a lot of discipline on the part of Adam Graves to get back at Kasperitis.
Todd Bertuzzi met by Messier. Bertuzzi keeps in. Green bottled up by Burr. Here's Messier. Moving in on McInnes. Remember, McInnes a forward. Now Bookable takes the pass and goes barreling into the net. Off the feed from Messier. Right now, let's head to Hollywood. NHL update with James Brown.
Hey, Kenny, Detroit St. Louis update. Red Wings on the attack. Slavkovsky to Martin Lapointe, who shoots. Fuhrer gets a piece of it, but Fetisov continues to the net to put it in. 2-0 Detroit in the second. Grant Fuhrer hurt on the play. It appears to be a leg injury. He was replaced by John Casey. Back to Kenny Albert and Dennis Potvin, who's in the friendly confines on the island.
So the Detroit Red Wings out to the lead. And it's 3-0. Detroit over St. Louis. How about that? 119 points.
Just a fabulous season, I mean, for the Detroit Red Wings. As we watch Boot Kaboom, one of the rare times that he goes up the ice. Watch as he knows who to give it to. Watch how Messier feathers the pass right there to Boot Kaboom. Boot Kaboom does everything he can to put it in the net. The puck misses, but he didn't miss the net.
Earlier this season, Boot Kaboom came out of the penalty box, scored on a breakaway, a backhand shot in Philadelphia, perhaps thinking back to that game.
Yeah, exactly. He went to the backhand on that one. I didn't know that he had a lot of room, because he had a lot of momentum going towards the net.
Islanders continue on the power play for the next 52 seconds. Palffy throws out to the left point. LeChance shoots. Here's Flatley on the rebound. Now Palffy centers. Palffy, top of the right circle. Shot blocked. Green to the rebound. Steers it wide. LeChance to the point. Palffy continues to hold. Now to the slot. Green took a hit from Curry. Good play by Yuri Curry, lifting the stick of Travis Green. And now Curry kills some time. Only 12 seconds on the penalty. Samuelson clears the center. And that will do it for the Adam Graves penalty. So the Islanders now 0 for 4 on the power play today. McSorley and Plot. Plot got there first, eliminating the icing call. Rolls towards the net. Richter scoops it up. And now sticks up high. Plot not happy with the McSorley hit moments ago.
Derek Armstrong, who's had a couple of good hits on old Samuelson. Samuelson, a couple of hits on Armstrong. Came right in there at the help of Dan Plot. Both of them facing the big guy, McSorley. Not benefiting from the bouncing puck of the New York Islanders. Right there, a couple of opportunities, moving the puck around real well on the power play. But the Islanders just not able to get a good handle on it. Dan Plant taking the hit from the big guy, McSorley. Things are getting a little heated up, and here the play continues. Marty McSorley added for the physical play. Collie Campbell talking about, if you got to meet Philly, if you got to meet New Jersey, we've got to add size, and certainly McSorley can bring that to you.
And now the Rangers break out, led by Messier. 5 minutes to go in the second. Driver steers it behind. Verbeek with the high hit on Kasperitis. Here's Messier spinning away from Nicholas Anderson. Driver pitching. Kasperitis with some room. Kasparaitis with 4.5 to go. 1-1 score. McInnes opened the scoring just a minute 19 into the first period. Nemchinov tied the game here in the second. Ryan Leach out to center.
A lot of guys have not had a lot of ice time lately because of all the penalties, and Verbeek and Luke Robitaille certainly are the kind of players that don't kill penalties. The Rangers have had to kill off a few, so they don't see a lot of ice time.
Hendrickson off the feed from Dooley. Hendrickson taken down. Nemchinov plays it up the boards. Up the lines by Conacher. Dooley lined up by Leach. Luongo and Robitaille near corner. Luongo gets it to Hendrickson. Hendrickson to Luongo. Stopped by Richter.
Well, you have to be very impressed with the work of this young Islander team along the board. They cover the puck very well. They keep their body between the puck and the opposing player.
1-1 score. We'll be right back. Kenny Albert, Eddie Potvin on Long Island. Let's listen to this hit.
Kasparaitis getting it up in the nose, but he comes right back. Now he's smiling. Well, quite a competitor.
He has taken the brunt of many Ranger checks, legal and illegal, this afternoon and throughout his 4-year career.
Well, he's happy because he figures he's given out quite a few as well. Probably all evens out over the course of the season.
And the ones he's given out have been both legal and illegal as well. 3:10 to play, second period. Entertaining hockey game from the Nassau Coliseum. The Rangers and the Islanders tied at 1. Rangers won the first 4 meetings this year between these two clubs. Islanders came back the last time they met in late February at Madison Square Garden. Offsides called on the Islanders. Well, Denny, next Sunday, don't miss the excitement of the NHL on Fox once again when Mark Messier and the Rangers face off against the defending Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils. So the last 2 Cup champions meet, plus other exciting regional action. Coverage begins at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Check local listings for the game and time in your area right here. The NHL on Fox.
Kenny, as we cover the tri-state area, you and I will be in New Jersey covering that game next week. It'll be a dandy. That's the kind of game that Collie Campbell is waiting for, because that trade by Neil Smith, Collie Campbell said that's the kind of players that I wanted. And when he was asked about the recent slump of the team, he says, I don't want to blame the players for any of this. He says the trade was something that I wanted. We talked about it with Neil Smith, and they went out to shape the team to be bigger, stronger, and more physical, in particular to face the New Jersey Devils. The next week, that matchup will happen in New Jersey. One worth waiting. Well, we're anxious to see it. I'm not sure what I was trying to say there, but I'm anxious to see it myself.
Oh, we all are. Now Curry sets up Kovalev, whose stick goes flying to the opposite corner. I think he was excited, just as excited as you are, as Kovalev took the shot, broke his stick. And Richter covers up. The player we saw moments ago on the Ranger bench, Sergio Momesso, looked to be a bit shaken up. You mentioned many of the Ranger moves during the offseason and as we approach the trade deadline had to do with their size and their having been swept by the Philadelphia Flyers in last year's playoffs. Well, looking ahead to this week, Rangers will face the Flyers twice and the Devils twice between today and 1 week from today. So 4 games against the Devils at home Tuesday, then a home and home with the Flyers Thursday and Friday, and then in New Jersey on Sunday. Rangers have not lost to Philadelphia this year. They have not beaten New Jersey. 1 loss 2 times.
Well, you know, that'll be the series. I mean, if you're the coaching staff of the Rangers, you're sitting there and saying, there's a 4-game series that we're really going to look very closely at, and we can maybe fine-tune ourselves for the playoffs. It could turn out to be a real bonus for the Rangers, a team that is trying to fine-tune themselves to have a Stanley Cup run. They'll be facing 2 teams that they'll have to meet one of them anyway in the conference finals if they get that far.
Here's Messier shooting one. It's blocked as the Islanders continue to sacrifice the body. Here comes Kasparaitis, but an offsides In the zone too soon was Todd Bertuzzi. You know, Todd Bertuzzi, his family has had a distinct impact on the NHL's Eastern Conference these last few years. Remember, his father's cousin, Larry Bertuzzi, was the arbitrator who ruled that Eric Lindros would play for the Philadelphia Flyers and not the New York Rangers. The draft day deal by the Quebec Nordiques with two teams, the Rangers and the Flyers, and it was a gentleman by the name of Larry Bertuzzi who ruled that it would be Philadelphia. Larry Bertuzzi also involved right now in the Al Iafrate arbitration hearing with the Boston Bruins. Bruins claim that Iafrate's injury was non-hockey related, and they feel they do not have to pay his salary this year. But Iafrate says otherwise. Now a Ranger penalty as Verbeek and Armstrong came together at center. So they might both be headed off. We'll have to see what the referee Richard Trottier has to say. It looks like both Verbeek and Armstrong, they collided at center, and we will play four-a-side now for the next 2 minutes.
Well, let's take a look at what happened right in the neutral zone. You see to the left of your screen, Armstrong wants to make sure that Verbeek doesn't get away. So he pulls him down in the neutral zone. I'm not quite sure what Verbeek did to get the penalty. We didn't see it there on the replay.
I'm not sure Verbeek knows either.
Yeah, he's not happy. Well, with 1:59 remaining in the second period, you'd have to think that well, they're both going off. Now we're seeing Verbeek. That's because there's 1:59 left in the period. They are both going off to the dressing room. 2-minute penalties, both Verbeek and Armstrong. 4-on-4 for minute 59. You got to figure if you want to follow the stats, it's got to be in the favor of the Rangers. 4-on-4 hockey. New York Rangers have scored 17, allowed 7, whereas it's the other way around for the Islanders. Scored 7 and allowed 14.
Interesting calls here. Armstrong with the original hook, and Verbeek called for unsportsmanlike conduct. In other words, diving. We have not seen that call often, but Pat Verbeek is one of the guys actually who has been called previously this year for taking a dive, so both players head off.
I haven't seen that call all year. A pretty gutsy call by referee Trottier.
Pat Verbeek has had a bit of a reputation for trying a bit extra in order to draw penalties, and we see that was the interpretation of referee Richard Trottier. Coming up during our second intermission, James Brown and Dave Bellotti will bring you all the scores and highlights from around the National Hockey League. And don't miss Fox Sports Choice Cuts, featuring the best plays and moments in the NHL over the past 2 months. That's all coming up during our second intermission. 90 seconds remaining. Second period, 1-1 score. Marty McGinnis, Sergei Nemchinov, the goal scorers. Travis Green leans in with Jari Kurri.
An important draw for the New York Islanders, and Travis Green is really superb. 99% of the time he goes on his forehand, as he does there. Just strips the puck away from most people on the draw. Travis Green, excellent at face-offs, a very important part of the game.
Excellent season for Green, who last year was the Islanders' 4th center for most of the season behind Pierre Turgeon, Ray Ferraro, Benoit Hogue, but all 3 of those players are gone, and Green has enjoyed his 95-96 campaign. Curry shoots one, it's blocked, and deflects over the glass.
Well, if Mike Milbury likes you and wants to give you a shot, you'll get all the shot and confidence from him you want. Travis Green's got 14 power play goals. As Kenny said, he only played 4th line last year, now one of the top center on the team. The other guy is Potvin. Mike Milbury has really gave a lot of confidence to Potvin. He sat down with him at the beginning of the year and he said, look, he said, how many goals can you score? Potvin, in his broken English, kind of shrugged his shoulders and he said, I don't know. Milbury said, you're going to score 40. Well, he's got 38 up until now. So I tell you, say what you want about Mike Milbury, but at this point, at least with these 2 guys, so far he's been right. He saw some potential. All he needed was to give him confidence in ice time, and both of them have delivered.
Building blocks.
Building blocks.
Now the drive from the point by Driver. Bayshore keeps it out under a minute to go. Second period. We continue four-a-side. Adam Graves. The chance chasing for the Islanders takes a hit. Lister, that shot Hit off the skate of Curry. Potvin, cross ice to Green. Travis Green backhands in, then took a hit from Lister.
We saw Potvin and Green play together in this 4-on-4, but Milbury said he wanted to split them up. Said they're not scoring together. The team is not scoring. I believe 11 goals in the last 8 games. This is not a team that's really burning up the red light. So he was going to split them up, see if he could get 2 lines going instead of just trying to rectify the one.
Final seconds, period number 2. Here's Luongo. That goes just wide as time expired. Sergei Nemchinov, the lone goal in the second period. Mike Richter allowed one early off the stick of Marty McGinnis. We played 40 minutes from the Nassau Coliseum. Rangers out shooting the Islanders 21-14. Islanders with the 10-8 edge in the second period.
Well, a little earlier, just late, the battle between McCabe and Curry. Now, Curry just had it up. He's trying to get away, but the stick is really well entrenched there. And watch what Curry does. Now, McCabe shows pretty good poise. That's what Milbury's talking about. Watch this. Takes the helmet off. Now, you would think the young 20-year-old might respond, throw a punch, or do something like that. McCabe did not. This is 4-on-4 hockey at the point, and McCabe just kept his cool, and finally the puck was safely out of the New York Islanders zone.
So 1-1 the score from the Nassau Coliseum, the Rangers and the Islanders. Remember, the Islanders were tied at 1 yesterday afternoon in Hartford, but they've really struggled in the third period this year. Whalers scored 2 in the third, won the game 3-1. As we mentioned earlier, the Islanders have been outscored by 52 goals in the third period of their games this season, 102-50.
I'm not so sure if that's the kind of thing that Mike Milbury, the coach, would remind them of right now in this intermission. This is a hockey team that's had a very strong game, the New York Islanders have so far, against a New York Ranger team that has not played for 4 days. So the Rangers have had a lot of good chances, but the guy that is going to be their #1 goaltender in the future, Eric Fichot, has had an outstanding game to this point, stopping many good New York Ranger opportunities.
And Danny, a very familiar sight to your eyes behind the score, the 4 Islanders Stanley Cup banners from 1980, 81, 82, and 83. We'll be back from the Nassau Coliseum, but next, James Brown and Dave Maloney from Hollywood.
The NHL on Fox is brought to you by Pizza Hut, home of the all-new triple-decker pizza. Have one delivered today. By MasterCard, official card of the NHL. By the U.S. Army, be a part of the toughest, smartest army in the world. Be all you can be. And by Quaker State, the motor oil that exceeds the highest standards for engine protection.
Tonight, Bart and his friends take a road trip.
Bart, cruise control, my good man.
On a brand new Simpsons tonight.
Still using Western Union to wire money? Next time, use MoneyGram and save up to $9, unless you don't mind being taken for a ride. MoneyGram, the better way to wire money.
Few good reasons to drive Ford Windstar.
It has the most powerful engine of any leading minivan and the highest safety rating. Windstar is the only minivan that gets the government's 5-star rating.
I like that number.
Check out this number. Now you can lease a Windstar for just $209 a month for 24 months with $26.93 down. That's why 5 of the top 10
and counting
best-selling cars and trucks are at your Tri-State Quality Ford dealer.
So, why aren't you driving a Ford?
Mio papà lavora per l'International Paper Italia.
Francesca's father makes recyclable cartons that are replacing wooden boxes worldwide.
Mio papà fa delle scatole forti, che ci mettiamo dentro di tutto. L'insalata, i pomodori. A me i pomodori non mi piacciono per niente. Per fortuna che ci sono le scatole di papà, le mando tutti via.
International Paper. We answer to the world.
Introducing More, the all-new Elantra. More hip room, more leg room, more power, more agility, more comfort. The Elantra gives you more of what you like in Civic, Sentra, Escort, or Corolla. And oh yes, more headroom than ever. The all-new Elantra from Hyundai. More car. Lease an all-new Elantra for just $169 a month and $500 down. See your Hyundai dealer today.
Still using Western Union to wire money? Next time, use MoneyGram and save up to $9. Unless you don't mind getting MoneyGram, the better way to wire money.
The 10 o'clock news tonight on Fox 5.
And welcome to the second intermission here in Hollywood. Along with Dave Maloney, I'm James Brown. Let's get you caught up on action around the NHL. Yes, indeed, modern-day Samson.
Modern-day Samson, Jaromir Jagr. The first goal of the game is Peter Nedved. He's going to beat Hextall over the left shoulder. That put the Penguins on the board first. But on the power play here, puck goes in net. LaRue over to Lindros, out to LeClaire. 1-1 hockey game. And I want to tell you, JB, Lindros is happy. 20-2 shots on goal, favoring Philadelphia. The vaunted Pittsburgh offense no-show second period.
Unbelievable. Let's move along to St. Louis and Detroit.
76 consecutive start for Grant Fuhr in the nets for the St. Louis Blues. This is Kozlev's going to throw it over to Martin Lapointe. Now, I want you to pay attention as Fuhr goes down. This puck is going to go into the net, but watch Fuhr. As Fetisov falls on him, he gets all twisted about. How important is that? Very important, as we see Grant Fuhr head to the locker room with, we hear, maybe a sprained right knee. In comes John Casey, but you know what, folks? It doesn't matter. Better off to Doug Brown, a snapperoo, short side. Doug Brown, the Detroit Red Wings just continue to roll along.
Boy, add Fuhr's injury to that of Hull and Corson, and the Blues are being hurt indeed. So let's move along with the rest of the scores. The Rangers and Islanders, that all tied at 1. That in the second period of play as well. Dallas and Chicago, supposed to be a finesse. Wow, look at Mr. Probert. Is he looking mean?
Got the Probert playoff bad guy look, and by golly, he snaps this one past Darcy Wakaluk on a pass from little Danny Savard. That was Bob Probert's second of the game. Wakaluk exits stage left.
And was not a kind pull either. Boston and Buffalo, that knotted at 2. And when we come back, our producer, Scott Ackerson, loves to call it choice cuts.
MasterCard presents the NHL Play of the Week.
With speed, he's going by Nedved. Jagr scores! Oh, that's a classic.
Jaromir Jagr shot down the Rangers with this solo dash, but Mario Lemieux gets top honors for his 5-goal flag.
Lemieux in front, Lemieux shoots, he scores! Mario Lemieux has his 5th of the game! Oh, baby, Lemieux has 5!
MasterCard, official card of the NHL and proud sponsor of the NHL Play of the Year.
The new reloadable smart card. The future is happening now down under and on its way here. From MasterCard, it's smart money.
Sweaty, gritty, crushing engagements is brought to you in part by Speed Stick, the only one tough enough for this league. Official deodorant sponsor of the NHL.
Announcing the biggest taste hit in pizza history, the new triple-decker pizza from Pizza Hut, with our 6-cheese blend hidden deep inside 2 thin crusts. Wow, what a pizza! Only $9.99. You'll love the stuff we're made of.
What do you get when you cross a high-quality conventional motor oil with an advanced formula synthetic? A revolutionary oil that protects better than regular oils, yet costs less than full synthetics. Durablend from Valvoline. Valvoline's the #1 choice of top mechanics.
On the Rue de Chaison, a minivan meets up with some adventurous souls. In a city by a bay, a Jaguar rendezvous with a resourceful accountant from Des Moines. We're in a simple business here at Budget Car and Truck Rental. It's about joining the right vehicles together with the right individuals all over the world. And when you see people as individuals, it makes a big difference in the way you treat them. Budget. all the difference in the world.
And welcome back to the NHL on Fox. And as you know, we've been off the past 6 weeks. An awful lot has taken place. So we thought we'd get you caught up on what our producer, Scott Ackerson, likes to call our choice cuts.
This is a terrific day for the St. Louis Blues. Wayne Gretzky is coming to Blues country.
Drop it up to Lemieux.
Yager's right in and scores. Yager picks up 5-0.
Good handle. Looks to clear it himself. He does. Going for the empty goal. Good scores!
Francis on. He gets a pass from Lemieux. Looking for Lemieux in front. Lemieux shoots. He scores! Lemieux has his fifth of the game. Oh, baby! Hits the corner again. Save! Raveloff! Oh, Sweeney centers for Tim Sweeney. What a save by Richter!
Oh, baby.
Simon in front to Keane. Flaherty's there. And he stops it on the goal line. In front of Wood. Unbelievable save again by Vernon. Nice throw. Presley shoots. Wasn't that a pretty day? Reach with a great play. Reach hustles to the puck. Races in. Reach scores. Oh, baby. My word. What's going on? Somehow Lemieux put that puck in.
And we'd like to offer our congratulations to the University of Michigan, which won the NCAA Hockey Championship this weekend, and to the University of Minnesota's Brian Bonin, who won the Hobie Baker Award. That's college hockey's equivalent to the Heisman Trophy. As you know, we're on just once a week, but there's plenty of hockey on ESPN. Tuesday night, the race for playoff positions continues this week as Mark Messier and the New York Rangers play host to Martin Brodeur and the New Jersey Devils, that in the battle of the last two Stanley Cup champions. Then on Wednesday night, on the Deuce, five-time Norris Trophy winner Ray Bourque leads the Bruins into the new Molson Center to take on Saku Koivu, Pierre Turgeon, and the Montreal Canadiens. That's Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN2. And the NHL on Fox continues after this.
At Michelin, we believe a tire that's just good in the rain isn't good enough. Introducing the Michelin X1 with a 6-year, unlimited mileage tread life warranty. It's the one tire that gives you better wet traction than any rain tire, plus control in any driving condition. After all, it hasn't rained that much in years. The Michelin X1.
Send your package in 2 days with FedEx, and people are impressed. Cost, about $12.
Send your package in 2 days with UPS, and people are impressed. Cost, about $6. Send your package in 2 to 3 days with priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service, and people are impressed. Cost exactly $3.
So, 12, 6, 3, what's your priority? Priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
Corrosion. It can attack your engine from the inside, bringing it to a grinding halt. Fortunately, there's Quaker State Motor Oil, proven to exceed the highest standards car makers have established for protection against corrosion. Quaker State. What's the state of your motor oil? Quaker State exceeds the highest standards for engine protection.
Hey, hockey fans, there's a new official in the NHL, one that's making a big hit. Bud Ice and Bud Ice Light, the official beer sponsors of the NHL. Goes down easy and icy smooth. Bud Ice and Bud Ice Light, an official you'll like.
Big jobs need big muscle, we thought, so we built an engine with the power of 10 cylinders. A V6 should have V8 power, we thought, so we designed a multi-valve V6. A car should be as quick as it looks, we thought, so we built an engine that pounds out 450 horsepower. In fact, we spent so much time thinking about engines, you can almost hear the wheels turning. The new Dodge.
We'll return to the Nassau Coliseum for the start of the third period. Right after this, and a word from your local Fox station.
If you've ever been fascinated by the dark side of human nature, we have someone you need to meet. Prophet premieres Monday, April 8th.
With the reliability of the most powerful V8 in its class, full-time four-wheel drive, anti-lock disc brakes, and dual airbags, think of the new Jeep Grand Cherokee as the calm during the storm. Now lease the Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo with 0 down and just $359 a month.
See your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer.
Last year, I flew 250,000 miles. Most people would find that exhausting, but it's different for me. I don't have business in New York or LA. The trip itself is my business. And whether it's business travelers or people who fly just once a year.
The captain turned on the fasten seatbelt.
That flight is a big part of what makes a trip good or bad. And a good flight isn't the same for everybody. Some are looking to work. Some just want to relax. And some, they just want to get away. And knowing the difference, well, that comes with flying 250,000 miles and seeing 1,000 different faces.
In Germany, there is no word for gonzo, no word for rad, righteous, or gnarly. And as far as we can tell, no word for whoa. There is, however, a car. Introducing the Audi A4, a stunning achievement in German engineering, and one wicked ride. Dude, the new A4. Get ready for the ride of your life.
Good Day New York, weekdays at 7 a.m. on Fox 5. The NHL on Fox is brought to you by Valvoline DuraBlend, the #1 selling semi-synthetic motor oil. By Microsoft, where do you want to go today? By Bud Ice, the official beer sponsor of the NHL. And by the new Dodge, we're thinking ahead.
Kenny Albert, Denny Potvin from the Nassau Coliseum. Rangers and Islanders tied at 1. Our scoring summary brought to you by Bud Ice. Sergei Nemchinov, the lone second period goal. Adam Graves, Bruce Driver assist at 10:02, his 16th goal of the year. And Denny, there is the new New York Islanders logo introduced at the start of this 95-96 season, and the old logo used the first 23 years.
Well, we'll call that first logo a temporary logo. Look at those banners. Aren't they pretty? Look at the logo right in the middle of those Stanley Cup banners. That's the way it should be. And
oh, no! No!
What would they
the
look like? The nightmare has begun. Wake me up. Pinch me. Let it not happen. No, it is just not the way it's supposed to be.
Number 5 retired, high atop the Nassau Coliseum. You know, Bobby Nystrom's number 23 looks a lot cleaner than yours.
Now, they have to probably wash Bobby's. He's still part of the organization, one of the few. But I tell you that, about that logo, though, I think that what we may see The New York Islanders, if they get a chance to get the change approved, might just go back to the old logo. We understand that for certain games next year, the New York Islanders will be one of the teams that will have a third uniform, and on that third uniform there will be the New York Islander logo, the real one, as I should say.
The real one.
The real one.
And that will be to commemorate their 25th anniversary season next year. Do you think there's any chance they would ever go back? They would ever switch back to the original logo?
I think there's a real possibility that they'll go back. You know, you figure this is a young hockey team that is rebuilding under Mike Milbury. Why not bring back the tradition? After all, players are, I would imagine, the young players, just like in the Montreal organization, want to be really, really proud of wearing the uniform that won the cups.
And as those in the New York area know, the Islanders have taken a lot of flack from fans, from the media, from the national media, regarding the new jerseys and specifically the new logo. Verbeek and Armstrong have returned from the penalty boxes.
Well, that's my biggest beef. It's not the uniform. The uniform, you can change colors, update it if you want. But don't take away the logo.
There's Messier in with the shot. It's blocked. Verbeek behind the net, throws out to the point. One of the problems, according to the new ownership group, was the NY on the old logo. The Islanders do not want to be associated with New York City, with Manhattan. They feel that's the Rangers' territory, so they wanted to eliminate the NY, and the Y, of course, in the shape of a hockey stick.
You are what you are. You're Long Island, you're in the state of New York, and the logo is emblematic of 6 divisional championships, 4 Stanley Cups, and really a long, long history of great hockey in Long Island.
Here's Kovalev in front, looks to set up Curry. Kovalev, beautiful pass. Curry walks in, shoots, and then Kovalev scores on the rebound. 2-1 Ranger lead. 20th goal of the season for Alexei Kovalev, and the Islanders' third period problems continue.
Well, certainly the Islanders don't have a history of a great third period this season. 102-50, they're outscored third period hockey. But right now, Kovalev is doing what Nemchinov did a little earlier. He's just waiting for the right time, the right opportune moment. And watch this. He walks in just as the puck comes to him in the high slot. Nemchinov, Kovalev have really picked up their game of late in the last several games by the New York Rangers. It has been those two who have been taking the load of scoring for the New York Rangers. Alexei Kovalev.
Time of the goal, 125. In contrast to the Islanders, who have now been outscored by 53 third period goals, the Rangers now plus 26 in their third periods.
Kovalev, you know, the big third period goal scorer. He's got 5 game-winning goals. That ties him with Messier and Verbeek. Of course, if this goal were to stand, that would make it 6. He'd take the lead on the team. 6 game-winning goals. And Nemchinov strong in third period hockey. I'm sorry, Kovalev strong in third period hockey.
Kovalev's 20th from Curry and McSorley at 125. So the trade with the Kings starting to pay dividends. The 3 players who came over started slowly, but now Curry with a point in 3 straight games, and that's McSorley's first point as a New York Ranger.
Well, it's starting to pay dividends. It's hard, really, to have a trade work right away. It can go one of either way. The Florida Panthers get Greg Shepard and Martin Straka, and right away they score. Or you have a little more time as to be spent in gelling. As a matter of fact, Mark Messier said the more veterans, the quicker they'll gel. Well, in this particular instance, it took a few games. It didn't happen right away.
Sellout crowd at the Nassau Coliseum, 16,297. Islanders trailing the Rangers now, 2-1. Now the centering feed for Curry. Kovalev there as well. Here's Curry in the slot, shoots, and Fischel makes the stop. Robitaille on the doorstep is met by the combination of Blunt and McCabe. Robitaille battling for the rebound following the save by Fischel.
Now Robitaille, as we said, has been struggling for goals this year. Maybe he's just a little overly desperate, but the play that he made will always get a reaction from the opposing defenseman. We get a chance to look at it. You'll see Robitaille with the puck really well ensconced in the chest and in the glove of Eric Fichot. Robitaille still takes a whack at it. That almost assuredly will get your reaction from the defenseman. Watch here. Now the puck was loose, so in Luc Robitaille's defense, we can see on the rebound the puck was loose, so he probably was in every right to do what he did. But of course, not seen by McCabe, and the reaction is very evident. New York Islanders want to battle as a pack.
And Robitaille and McCabe, excuse me, Danny, will both head to their respective penalty boxes, so we'll play 4 aside once again.
Well, that's probably a fair call by Trottier just to get the players, give them both minor penalties for that. You know, the New York Rangers have not really played to their strength so far in this game. There's just been too many penalties for the New York Rangers, and I go back to the discipline factor. Becomes very important in the playoffs. Right now, we're looking at a Ranger team that seems to me to be very edgy. I talked to Kevin Lowe between the second and third period, asked him a little bit about Messier and the teammates, and the word Kevin used was they're a little owly. And in particular, Messier, the team is not playing well. The team is a little edgy. You're now edging towards the playoffs. You want to be at the best right now. 7 games, or after tonight, 8 games left for the New York Rangers. And you can see there's a little anxiety in the Ranger uniform.
What was the word Kevin Lowe used?
Owly.
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 Is that that's Albertan phrase?
That's a hockey term. That's a hockey term right there.
Hockey owly. Owly. How would you spell that?
I guess it'd be O-W-L-I-L-Y.
Owly. Here's Travis Green. Looks to set up Palfi.
Owly.
Brian Leach skates it out.
Do we have to analyze it?
Owly.
Owly.
Hockey term.
I guess owly. Hockey term. Little owly. The Rangers are like that. You know, their strength 5-on-5, they are like in the +50 category, 5-on-5, the New York Rangers. So it would be to their strength. They're at the top of the league when they play even strength. So when they have to kill off penalties, they're not giving themselves the chance that they would rather have.
The Islanders have iced the puck. Back in a moment with the Rangers up 2-1. Messier for elbowing Janssen, who suffered a mild concussion. 8 concussion, Danny, suffered by the Islanders this season.
It's just unbelievable. It's got to be the worst streak of bad luck for the New York Islanders. We've got a young talent in Brett Lindros, who right now, because of concussion problems, is at home having to make a decision about his career.
Dennis Vasky will not play again this year. Ken Belanger is out. So 8 concussions this season. 4 players currently suffering from concussions, including Kenny Janssen. Now, the Islanders did press 7 defensemen today, but we have not yet seen Jason Strudwick. He's on the Islander bench, made his NHL debut yesterday in Hartford. Bertuzzi into the Rangers zone. Got the shot away with Lidster leaning all over him. Here's Kasparaitis taking the pass from McInnes. Kasparaitis sends in deep. Bertuzzi and Driver come together.
How big Bertuzzi can add him to the concussion list. He got a concussion this year as well as Palfi. The bad break of all, Belanger, who was acquired in the trade, got his in practice. It's not funny, but the fact is, the streak of bad luck is incredible.
Here's Nicholas Anderson down the right wing. Rebound comes around to Kasparaitis. Darby Hendrickson fanned on the attempted pass in front. And Robitaille taps it out. So the penalties have expired on Robitaille and McCabe. Back at 5-on-5 hockey here with 4.5 gone by in the third period. Rangers have taken a 2-1 lead on Alexei Kovalev's 20th goal this season. Islanders led in the first on the McInnes goal. Nemchinov tied it in the second. And Kovalev, who holds the puck now behind the Ranger goal, with the go-ahead goal at 1:25 of the third. Kovalev across the Islander line. Carams around to Ulf Samuelsson. And now McCabe starts back the other way. Flips it up into the crowd. Ulf Samuelsson, in an earlier meeting with the Islanders, caught a stick up high on Todd Bertuzzi and then following the game, accused Mike Milbury of spitting at him. And that caused some barbs back and forth between Milbury, Colin Campbell, Walt Samuelson as well. And Samuelson and Milbury go way back to the Boston-Hartford rivalry when Samuelson nearly ended the career of Cam Neely while Milbury was still in Boston.
You know, Milbury will probably benefit most from return of the logo, the real Islander logo, because he wants a rivalry. The first thing that Milbury said when he came into the New York area is screw the New York Rangers and screw the New Jersey Devils. And basically what he wants to do is create a rivalry, because in this tri-state area, the New York Islanders don't have to win a Stanley Cup right away to be #1. All they have to do is be better than the Rangers. That's not an easy task, but that'll bring back the rivalry and bring back the tradition.
Can we file Milbury's comments in the hockey dictionary with Owley?
I think his use of words is a little more common even outside the hockey dressing room. Owley, it's a great one. Well, next time you interview Kevin Lowe, you're going to have to.
Here's Sundstrom's shot, blockered out.
And I have to ask you about the exact meaning of Owley. Heard it a lot, though. Never thought of asking what exactly it means. You just take it for granted.
Now, getting back to the Islander logo, are your feelings shared by some of the other Islander alumni you've spoken to this year?
Well, you know, there's a lot of people just don't want to deal with it. But, you know, I look around the arena here, and the old logo is in here, outnumbering the new one at least 10 to 1.
Now, Kasparaitis deep in his own end. We have 3 jerseys predominant in the stands. The old Islander logo, the new Islander logo, and many Ranger jerseys as well. Sellout crowd on Long Island as the Islanders send down. Icing waved off. Potvin fires off the boards. Here's LeChance with 13:21 to go. Matt Conacher sends out to Kasparaitis. Kasparaitis from a tough angle, stopped by Richter. And Pat Verbeek skates to center. LeChance to Garrett Dooling. And Dooling will shoot in. Heads for the bench as the Islanders make a line change.
A little more play at center ice now. The checking a little more intense by the Rangers.
Here's Palpe using his speed. Comes in front. The puck was behind Richter, and then he fell on top. Big save by Mike Richter on 39-goal scorer Zygmunt Palpe.
A third-period player. Zygmunt Palpe, 6 game-winning goals, and here trying to get the tying goal in the third period. Rangers leading 2-1. Palpe almost sneaking one through the pads of Richter.
And then who was there just an instant late for the rebound? Marty McGinnis, who's played a strong game here today, scored the Islanders' only goal so far. Now remember, they've been held to just 1 goal in 3 straight and 5 of their last 7. 20 times this year in 74 games, the Islanders have either been shut out or held to just 1 goal as Bomesso shoots wide. That's more than 1/4 of their game. They've scored only 1 goal or have been shut out. In fact, 6 times, Palpe has scored the Islanders' only goal. Now the centering pass to Nemchinov, walks in and scores. The puck crossed the line. It deflected in off.
I believe Longo.
Longo, the Islander defenseman. It's Nemchinov's 2nd goal of the game. 3-1 Rangers.
Well, you know, you look at the stats and you try and figure out why the Islanders in the third period outscored 102 to 50. Well, the intensity is not quite what it was certainly in the game. And you see right there the puck going off. And we'll watch to the right side of your screen. We'll get a chance. We'll stop it. And I'll show you where the puck. Now, it'll be right in this area here as Nemchinov moves in. You stop it right there, and you see where the puck goes off the skate of Luongo, and it follows. It goes into the net. Again, Nemchinov, his 2nd goal of the game, and a big one for the New York Rangers, distancing themselves from the Islanders in the third.
Sergei Nemchinov scored 2 goals against Pittsburgh on Sunday night. The Rangers only 2 goals in their 8-2 loss. 2 more here today, so 4 goals in his last 3 games.
Nemchinov and Kovalev have been playing really strong hockey. 2 guys have maybe been underachievers so far this year. Nemchinov in particular, his first year with the New York Rangers, 30 goals. And then it's been sort of a decline, 23, 22, and last year in a shortened season, 47 games he played, only 7 goals. So for Nemchinov, starting to light up the red light, is a big plus for the Rangers.
Nemchinov 17th from Momesso and Berg at 8:03. So the Rangers' lead is now 3-1. They've scored 3 unanswered goals. They're now out shooting the Islanders 26-15. Here's Samuelson's shot. Michaud got a piece of it. Kept alive by Curry. Curry spins it in deep. At the conclusion of today's game, Denny and I will select the new Dodge player of the game. Just over 11 minutes to go as Potvin fires in. Islanders came out flying, scored in the opening moments, and they controlled much of the play over the first 10 minutes, but the Rangers have taken over since. And now we hear some derisive chants from the Ranger fans of "We want fish sticks." Many people have referred to the Islanders logo as resembling a fish stick company. And we hear the first fish stick chant of the afternoon. In fact, the last time these teams met when the Islanders ended the Rangers' home streak, Rangers coach Colin Campbell came into his post-game press conference, and the first words out of his mouth, fish sticks. Messier drops it off away from Graves. Patrick Flatley across the Ranger line. Cut off by Leach. Ten minutes to play as the Islanders flip in, trailing the Rangers 3-1.
Well, we talked early in the broadcast about the fact that the Rangers had not played for a while. Maybe they would be a little slow off the mark, and the game has gone almost exactly as we'd figured. The Islanders came out storming, trying to take advantage of a team, and the Rangers who has not played a lot of hockey in the last few weeks. And then, as any older team, he'd rather play hockey than practice.
And this is the start of a stretch for the Rangers in which they will play 6 games in 9 days. And their last 9 games over a 15-day stretch.
And in this game, the Rangers have progressively gotten better, more disciplined, and just stronger. Of course, with the help of Nemchinov and Kovalev, taking advantage of Islander mistakes in front of the goal. The Islanders now seem to have lost a lot of the steam they brought into the game.
Into the Rangers zone, Armstrong. Blockered out by Richter. Palfy in the slot. Shane Turler spins it ahead to Marty McSorley. Under 9 minutes to go. Long goes pass deflected. This is Darren Langdon.
With a line we haven't seen in quite a while.
Langdon with Turler and Nicholas Sundstrom. Look to kill off some time, keep the puck in the Islander zone. Now Sundstrom works it free. Samuelson slowly to the near corner. Langdon and Turler double team Travis Green.
Now this line with the Rangers doing a good job of keeping the Islanders hemmed in.
Sundstrom backhands down. Rangers get 2 of their forwards off without the Islanders clearing the puck out of the zone. Rangers have made 2/3 of a line change here while keeping the puck in deep. Langdon, the only one remaining. Joined by Curry and Kovalev. Finally, the Islanders clear out.
One of the big reasons, Samuelson able to keep the puck in several times, pinching in on the Islanders just inside the Islander blue line.
Kovalev throws behind the net. Robitaille, shouldered by LeChance. Curry over as well. Kovalev to Curry. Yari Curry drops it off. Boogaboo shot deflects wide. Now Leach with the drive, kicked out by Fischel.
Well, that was a hard shot. You could hear the thud on the pads from up here. Brian Leach, the one-timer off the board.
7:11 remaining in the third period. Nicholas Anderson across the Ranger line. Broken up by Graves. Brent Severin plays it ahead. Deflects to Messier. Nice pass to Graves on the left wing. And Fischel pounces on it. 6:46 to play. 3-1 Ranger lead over the Islanders. Kenny Albert, Denny Potvin with the Rangers leading the Islanders 3-1. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Hockey League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this telecast, including the imposition of a charge for viewing the telecast without the express written consent of the National Hockey League, is prohibited. Detroit all over St. Louis, 6-1. 2 goals for Sergei Fedorov. Philadelphia on a John LeClair hat trick. 3-1 advantage as they look to stay 1 point ahead of the Rangers.
Oh, what is that? 47 goals now for John LeClair. Well, he turned into some kind of a hockey player. John LeClair really played 15 goals or so as the kind of player he was in Montreal, and ever since the emergence in Philadelphia, outstanding goal scorer.
Now, we've spoken so much during the course of the afternoon about this rivalry. How about Game 2, 1979 semifinals? Rangers, Islanders here at the Nassau Coliseum in overtime.
Take us back.
Who's that goaltender? John Davidson.
JD having trouble with the shot. The reason being is that when I shot the puck, it went off Carol Vadnais, the defenseman, who had gone down to try and block it. He redirected the puck, and it handcuffed JD. Sadly, that series was not won by the Islanders.
Yes, the Rangers would go on to win the series 4-2. They lost to Montreal in the finals, but the Islanders would win the next 4 Stanley Cups.
Yep.
Boston over Buffalo 4-3. Adam Oates.
That was the
for the pair.
Ooh La La Sassoon crowd, right? The Rangers in 1979. Phil Esposito and Ron Duguay, Greshner. Matter of fact, Brian Leach just broke Ron Greshner's assist streak for all-time defenseman assist scoring in the Ranger franchise.
In fact, during the Islanders' first Stanley Cup season of 1980, Pat Conacher would make his NHL debut with the Rangers. Here he is 16 years later with the Islanders. Rangers 8 games remaining. 2 with Philadelphia, 2 against New Jersey, 2 against Florida.
Well, not an easy schedule for the New York Rangers, and we talked about that earlier, but you can look at that 2 ways. And if you're in the position of the New York Rangers, you're trying to get together, you're trying to get your team to gel, get the character together. You want to have them tested before you go into the playoffs. And for Coley Campbell, this stretch is probably welcome. You want to play more hockey, you want to play tough competition, and he's going to get that. You can see New Jersey twice, Philly twice, back-to-back, home-to-home. The Rangers will get all the tests they need before going into the playoffs. And if they come out of it well, it may bode very well for them in the playoffs.
And everybody in the Eastern Conference still up in the air as far as first-round possibilities with all the teams bunched up. Top 3 and then the next 6 battling for the 5 playoff spots. Here's the Shorley, and now in the far corner, Brent Severin and Darren Langdon have words.
Now, Brent Severin, one of the guys that Mike Milbury says he gives it up. Oh, Bertuzzi getting involved. Now, Bertuzzi has not had a major yet this year, but
now he was chatting with Samuelson. Remember earlier this year, Samuelson high stick Bertuzzi.
Oh, look at the strength of Bertuzzi. Well, I thought we were going to see who that was. Now, I think is that Langdon still involved with Bertuzzi? No, it's not. That must be. Well, obviously.
That's Shane Churla.
Shane Churla's in there. Well, I tell you, that equipment came off pretty fast. Shane Churla's.
It all started with Severin and Langdon, and then Bertuzzi came in on Samuelson. Churla stepped in front, and the shirtless Ranger is Shane Churla.
Yep.
Langdon complaining about a cross-check from Severin.
Now, with just over 5 minutes left in the game, we'll see how Trache handles this. Referee Trache right now doing the work of the linesman, trying to get in between Shane Churla and the young Bertuzzi. You know, Shane Churla was interesting. He was so well-liked in Dallas. He became the team captain. He was a civic leader, very involved in the community. See Bertuzzi now really mad. Bertuzzi has not had a major all season long, but he is mad now.
Letting out his frustrations.
Yeah. So Shane Churla got traded. Now, when Ken Hitchcock came over and took over the Dallas Stars, the popular Shane Churla, the captain of the Stars, was not being used a lot. Oh, boy, look at this. Bertuzzi really upset.
Being held off by the linesman, Jean Morin. Bertuzzi wants more. Now going after Samuelson. I'll be shocked if Bertuzzi is not ejected after this display.
Well, just to finish up on Shane Churla, Ken Hitchcock decided that it was expendable because Shane Churla took too many reaction-type penalties rather than action-type penalties, and therefore made him expendable. Went to the Los Angeles Kings and came here along with that man, Marty McSorley, who has made this team a much bigger, much more physical New York Ranger hockey club. Well, this certainly looks like old-time hockey.
10 sticks, 20 gloves, 1 jersey on the ice.
This isn't about why your business has to communicate better or when the time is ripe to put all the new technology to work. We're past that stage. This is about putting laptops on desks and pages in pockets. It's about email and the internet. It's about a person who puts it all together and a company that can give you the hardware and software you need. This isn't about blue sky or sci-fi or by the by. This is about now, about how. Network MCI, that's how.
Kenny Albert, Denny Potvin with the Rangers leading the Islanders by the score of 3-1. Let's head out to Hollywood for an NHL update from James Brown.
Kenny, it's Detroit and St. Louis, and let me tell you, it's all Detroit indeed. Take a look at the puck being turned over. Doug Brown ahead to a rocketing Sergei Fedorov. He undresses John Casey. That made it 5-1. It is now 7-1 Detroit. Back to Kenny Albert, Dennis Potvin.
The Red Wings continue to roll. 7-1 lead. Mike Milbury and the Islanders with 5 minutes, 10 seconds to go, trailing the Rangers 3-1. Referee Richard Trottier sorting things out. The original combatants, here they are, Brent Severin and Darren Langdon. Severin was without his stick, and he shoved Langdon to the boards. And now Bertuzzi pointing towards the Ranger bench as he leaves the ice. Todd Bertuzzi, as we mentioned moments ago, should be the case, is ejected from the game. And as he skated off, he pointed towards Colin Campbell on the Ranger bench, who I'm sure at this point have more important things to worry about than Todd Bertuzzi.
Well, I'm sure that the New York Rangers, as you say, are thinking more about the 2-goal lead they've got with 5 minutes left, and the fact that now they've won 2 games in a row, and maybe Colin Campbell is much happier with the effort of his New York Rangers today than he has been in the past few weeks. Mike Milbury.
Shane Churla will exit as well.
Mike Milbury watching Shane Churla go off the ice.
How about that reaction from Colin Campbell? Churla gets the instigator. Langdon and Severin, 2 apiece for roughing. And then Churla, 2 for instigating, 5 for fighting, and a 10-minute misconduct. Game misconduct, that is.
Boy, the lineman.
5 for fighting plus a game misconduct on Bertuzzi.
The linesman who took the shot. The errant shot by Churla hit Jean Morin in the mouth, but he seems fine. Big guy himself, Jean Morin. Kevin Collins over talking with Collie Campbell.
Well, this game
like
is
the Rangers will be on the short side of this.
Yes, and this game is by no means over. A 2-goal Ranger lead. Right. Islanders to the power play with 5:10 remaining.
Now, Ulf Samuelsson, is he being sent off as well? He's gone over to the door leading to the Ranger dressing room, but he's back now.
So recapping the penalties once again, Langdon and Severin, 2 apiece for roughing. They wash each other out. Churla, 2 for instigating, 5 for fighting and a game misconduct. Bertuzzi, 5 for fighting and a game misconduct. Time of the penalties, 14:50. And Colin Campbell not very happy with the instigation minor called on Churla.
Well, you know, he's probably, and probably rightly so. Brent Severin seemed to throw a couple of punches at Darren Langdon, and probably from Colin Campbell's perspective, that was pretty much instigating at that point.
And it was Bertuzzi involved with Samuelsson originally, then Churla came in. So the Islanders go to their 5th man advantage this afternoon. They trail 3-1. Here's McGinnis across the Ranger line. Travis Green. Here's McCabe moving in. McCabe's shot deflected, and Richter holds on with Flatley on the doorstep.
Well, now you can empathize with Colin Campbell. I mean, if that puck goes in, all of a sudden it's a 3-2 hockey game, and you got lots of time to play. 4:47 left in the third period, and a good opportunity. Brian McCabe doing a good job there, waiting for Boom to go by, then gets the puck on goal. You got Flatley right in front of the net. You got Travis Green coming in. But Richter, who's making his first appearance this year against the New York Islanders, does a good job of stopping the play.
Messier will face off with Travis Green. Green centering Palffy and Flatley with McGinnis and McCabe on the point. So the Islanders going with 4 forwards and the 1 defenseman. Remember, they've lost Kenny Janssen, who would normally be out in a power play situation. Mild concussion. McGinnis shoots. Deflected wide. Here's Green. Into the slot, McCabe. Stolen by Messier. And McCabe cuts down the angle.
A good recovery by McCabe. Looking to make the pass across to Travis Green, the other point man. And the cat-like reflexes of number 11. Intercepted the pass.
Flatley held off by Samuelsson. 4 minutes to go. Rangers 3, Islanders 1. Scott LeChance just off the bench. Palffy curls it across to LeChance. Now McGinnis. Green to Palffy. Stuffed by Sundstrom. 30 seconds on the power play. Here's the chance moving in. Now the shot was blocked. Rolls to center with 3.5 to go.
Well, the Islanders coming back to life, getting a chance. Opportunities on goal. Have had a good power play so far.
McGinnis shot. It's blocked and deflects out of play with just 9 seconds remaining on the Islanders power play.
As we look at McGinnis, one of the real workers in today's hockey games. We said he leads the Islanders in scoring against the New York Rangers. Now the use of Pat Flatley, the captain, in front of the net. Flatley trying to get position. You see the little slew foot attempt by Ulf Samuelsson. Didn't work. Flatley beat strong. And will keep his feet pretty much in front of the net. You see the battle going on. Flatley, the elder statesman. 1984. Pat Flatley was drafted. He often says, I wish I would have come a year earlier. In '84, we lost. New York Islanders lost the attempt for 5 to Edmonton. That's the year Flatley joined the Islanders.
Along with Pat LaFontaine, both fresh out of the Olympics. LeChance with the shot. It's blocked. Penalty has expired as the Rangers clear down ice. Under 3 minutes to play. Curry and Anderson came together. Curry slow to get up. Now Kovalev Clears it ahead on the left wing to Curry. Robitaille. Met by Kasparaitis. Lister from the right point. It rolled through and then wide. 2.5 to go. Puck pinned behind the Islanders net. And play is blown dead. 3-1, Rangers lead. Final moments from the Nassau Coliseum. Eddie Albert, Eddie Potvin from Nassau Coliseum. Sergei Nemchinov with a pair of goals for the New York Rangers. One here in the third period as they lead the Islanders 3-1, 2:24 to go.
And with the power play opportunity gone by, the New York Islanders really had a good opportunity to get back on track. They're making all of Colin Campbell's fears come true when that happened.
Nemchinov and Travis Green on the face-off. Islanders come to center quickly. Flatley shooting in right side of Richter. Potvin held off by Lidster. McInnes seems to help. McCabe keeps it on the left point as we approach 2 minutes remaining. Flatley in front, and Richter makes the stop on McInnes. Strong afternoon for Mike Richter, as McInnes scored early, but he has kept the Islanders away ever since.
Well, what McInnes, number one, gets himself in good position. Nice work by Flatley, but watch how Richter covers that crease. Well, just a one push off the right leg, and he gets himself over about 4 feet just to face the shot by McInnes.
Then tonight on Fox, Miracles and Visions, followed by The Simpsons. After The Simpsons, it's The Show, then Married with Children, and Local Heroes. That's all tonight on Fox.
I'll get a little change of goaltending situation by Mike Milbury. Soderstrom is getting ready to come in the net. Pichot is coming out. 1:53 remaining in the hockey game. Now, there's obviously a situation here where Milbury is most likely thinking about getting a little time off for his players. Soderstrom is really taking his time. Now, you know, Milbury used the timeout, the only timeout he had, in the middle of the second period. So this ploy is to gain some time for his team. And this is a lot better than a 30-second timeout. Milbury making full use of the time it takes to change goaltenders. So
unlike past years, Denny, the team has not allowed practice shots, which would have given them some more time. So Tommy Soderstrom, who defeated the Rangers back in February, now in the Islander net. And it's a 2-on-1 for the Rangers. Messier shoots and scores. It backfires on the Islanders. Tommy Soderstrom comes in cold and allows a goal just 14 seconds later.
You know, you got to take risks in the business of coaching, and Mike Milbury took a calculated risk, thinking that maybe he can rest his troops, maybe get a goal, pull the goaltender, and try and win the hockey game. It has backfired badly. But what a pass by Marty McSorley coming out of the zone. That's a big league pass to Mark Messier, and Messier is more than aware that he's no longer looking at Pichot. That's a great pass coming out of the zone by Marty McSorley, and Messier is going 5-hole all the way. He's just waiting for his time. As he glides to his right, Soderstrom's got to open up the legs, and there goes the goal.
46th of the season for Mark Messier. Now a 4-1 Ranger lead. The Islanders have now been outscored, Denny, in the third period. 16-2 during these last 9 games. Messier looking for more. McSorley, the lone assist. His second point today. And with that goal, Mark Messier has tied Stan Mikita for 5th place on the NHL's all-time points list with 1,467.
Stan Mikita did it 21 years in the National Hockey League. I feel bad for Soderstrom. He's back on the bench now. Puso's back in goal.
Soderstrom played 10 seconds.
Oh, boy. What does that do to your average?
One shot, one goal. Does not even need a shower. Luongo tripped up by Momesso. 35 seconds to go. The Rangers will make it 5 out of 6 over the New York Islanders this season. Now Richter gloves it aside. Islanders will suffer their 9th consecutive loss. They've scored only 12 goals in those 9 games. Their 4th consecutive game held to 1 goal. The Rangers, meanwhile, will make it 2 consecutive victories and 3 of their last 4 as they have defeated the New York Islanders by the score of 4-1. Islanders struck early. Rangers come back 2 by Nemchinov. Kovalev's 20th, Messier's 46th. Mike Milbury will miss the Islanders' next 2 games, heading to Sweden on a scouting mission. They will host Philadelphia on Tuesday as they try to break their 9-game losing streak. Islanders have not won since March 9th. Our new Dodge player of the game this afternoon, Sergei Nemchinov. 2 goals, now 4 his last 3 games. Dodge is proud to donate $1,000 in Sergei Nemchinov's name to the Amateur Hockey Association of his choice. Back from the Nassau Coliseum in just a moment. Rangers over the Islanders, 4-1.
As the Red Wings face the Blackhawks, or the Rangers take on the Devils. Next Sunday, 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific on Fox.
Albert for Denny Potvin say so long from the Nassau Coliseum, where the New York Rangers have defeated the New York Islanders 4-1. Be sure to join Fox Sports next Sunday afternoon. Most of you will see the Rangers take on the New Jersey Devils, plus other regional action. The NHL is a presentation of Fox Sports.
From the producers of Alien Autopsy comes a brand new primetime special. Witness the astonishing video. Then you decide, are they miracles or scientific phenomenon? Watch Miracles and Visions, Fact or Fiction, tonight at 7, 6 Central on Fox. Next Sunday, don't miss the NHL on Fox when the Fox Tracks travels to the Windy City as Sergei Fedorov and the Detroit Red Wings face off against Tony Amonte and the Chicago Blackhawks. Coverage begins at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific. Check local listings for the game and time in your area right here on Fox.
You've been watching Fox Sports, seen by most as being very, very cool.